Systems go online. Mike, how are our weapons looking? Defenses
They're
up.
They're not doing good too good, Ben.
That's all
We're
good.
gonna die.
It's all
We're
good.
gonna get our ass kicked. I don't like it.
We're going into Cylon territory, full speed ahead, Captain.
This is gonna end bad. So bad.
All right. Well, hug your butts. All right. Episode 31. Hey, welcome to episode 31 of We Can't Code, So We Criticize. This is a weekly video game podcast between two friends where we share relatively biased opinions on games, but
Ben, Monster
find
Hunter's coming
sources.
for us. They're coming for us, man. I'm just telling you this right now. They want our
Abandoned
money.
ship. Abandoned ship, Mike.
Ever
Women
since
and
our last
children,
podcast.
screw that rule.
They're coming for us.
It's okay.
It's
okay.
bad. It's so bad. They're going on sale so many times. I got like 3 emails after last podcast, dude.
Aw,
Telling me
shit.
they're on sale. And like they obviously that they listen to our podcast, dude, because they really want us to buy their game.
Dude, we should buy the game.
I know, right? It was the weirdest thing. Is after that podcast, after you aired it, I just got like 3 emails in this week about how it was on sale. I'm like, damn, they must really like our podcast and want us to play their game.
I'm glad they do. You know who else should like our podcast? Squarespace. But unfortunately,
know.
they don't. So fuck them for now.
Yeah, because they hate Jews. They just can't stand having a Jew, do advertisement for them. Obviously,
I'm sure that's exactly the reason.
it so is.
All right. My name is Ben. We should get that on.
I'm Michael,
And
the
that's
Jew.
Mike. Yeah. In case you needed something shorter than Mike to call him, you
Yeah.
can call him that.
I'll turn them luck if I hear that called in the crowd.
So this is our podcast, but anyway,
can't
so
code.
yeah, we talk about games and movies too, and other stuff. I've actually been reading a lot of books lately, but we never talk about books. Maybe we'll make
Yeah.
a segment for that today.
I've been
you
on a
know.
dry spell with books. I got burned by like 3 bad books in a row, so I've been just avoiding them lately.
What have you read that has sucked?
I don't remember that. It's been such a long time, which is a sad thing that I don't
It's
remember
so
their
bad.
titles.
I just deleted it from my memory.
Basically, yeah. There was a time when I was just drawing books. I really got into like the Halo books, like the game, and they were fucking gorgeous. And I've read a few others too, like what is that? The Martian. That was also turned that movie. That was a really good book too.
Yeah, I read that too. That was good.
Yeah, that's something I realized I needed to pay more attention to and actually respect when it says like bestseller or like New York. It's like I forgot what is the usual title of that book? I think it's like New York's bestseller or something like that. Or
Yeah, New York Times bestseller, or like I think Oprah has like her book.
God, I keep on forgetting Oprah's alive.
Thing.
I don't know why this. I keep on thinking like Oprah's dead. I don't know why I think this, but every sometimes like so it's like Oprah's like something about Oprah. I'm like, oh shit, that's right. She's still alive.
I mean, she's been on television for like ever.
yeah, but I don't watch TV.
I don't know. People always talk about how like Sean Connery doesn't age, but Oprah's kind of getting to that. Like Oprah's had her own show since like 90s, 80s. I
Yeah,
mean, we're
ridiculous.
over like 30 years with her now. The Oprah show, or I mean, I think.
Yeah, the only thing I know about her is
I don't
just
know
like
what the
that
hell we're
one
talking
GIF where you just see like this like a door open up and you're like and she just like screams, "Everyone gets bees!" And then someone just like CGI bees and like everyone's just screaming because obviously it was the part when she like episode where she gave everyone like a free car.
Yeah.
And so then you see like everyone screaming and then just like there's just bees flying everywhere and there's just her laughing with her arms out.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
gets
love
me every time.
Well, because people are like going insane that they want a car. People are crying. So when you
Rightly
take out
so.
when you have the same amount of like craziness going on, and then you just add bee animations, it's people crying for all the bees around them, and people are like laughing hysterically. It's pretty good. No, I know
And
the
then
gift
just
you're talking
Oprah at
about.
the center of it all. It's just like, it gets me every time. And then I'm like, oh yeah, she's still alive. Good for her.
No, that's a good one.
Oh man.
All right, so Mike, well, actually, if you don't mind, so we went over your books. I brought it up. Let me quickly say I've been reading a couple like, what would you call it? I guess self-improvement books, sort of. So,
Wow.
well, like Nurse Tyler and I, we were both reading kind of like pickup artist books a little bit, but more just like how to talk to people. But it started out as like pickup books, and then from that, it talks about like having confidence and like having good posture and all that. And from those key aspects of the readings, then I moved on to other books like there's this great book by Dale Carnegie called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And it uses basically the same tactics, but instead of like trying to pick up women or be like suave towards women, it's about business, using that with business. When is it okay?
Have you been using these techniques on me, motherfucker?
I'm not gonna lie, a little bit, because
wow,
it's not like manipulating. It's just like sometimes you'll go on a rant.
You asshole.
I know. But they're like, one of the things that they say is just like avoid conflict for the most part. If you and I disagree on something, which happens all the fucking time on this podcast,
surprisingly,
we're never going to change each other's minds. So that's basically all that it comes down to. The best, if you were trying to change someone's mind, the best way that you could possibly do it is find common ground first. So
yeah,
like,
that makes sense.
You and I think that the time that I've used it in the past couple podcasts is that you and I have different thoughts on Remnant from the Ashes. I had huge expectations, and I think that I have been a little disappointed the more we've played, but you've had the exact opposite reaction. And so...
mostly because I came in low with expectations.
Yeah.
And, like, I've learned a lot for myself to never have high expectations, and I learned that especially from the first movie, Thor. Because everyone shitted on that movie. So I came with the worst expectations of that movie, and I absolutely love that movie. It's a fun movie for me. And I have just fond memories of it. And that's why I came to a point like, you know what? Just don't expect anything and just be happy. And
I love...
it helps.
I love that you have the first Thor movie to think of that is... if I keep my expectations as low as possible, I can never be disappointed. Thank you, Thor. That speaks loads about the Thor movie.
Well, man, that movie got shed on hard. Like, people just tore that one a new one, and I was like, I like this movie.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
It was just a funny example.
It is, and I don't know why that's the one that's always, like, stuck with me to remind myself. It's like, hey, let's just... don't expect too much. Let's bring it down. But I bought it because of your enthusiasm, because you were pumped for it, and you actually got me excited for it too, as well. Like, in a way that I wasn't expecting the world from it, but I was expecting a good time from it. It's like, well, this is a good, like, Diablo experience with Ben. This is something I can play with Ben that I know I'm going to enjoy too, because it's like Diablo, except a little bit different. It was like, cool. So when I got into it, I was like, yeah, I see this. I see this a lot.
Yeah, and so, like, for example, the problems that I have with Remnant are that I can tell I'm not going to be playing this game. I'm not going to have a bunch of replayability for this game. I can tell that the second that we beat this game, I'm probably not going to pick it up unless they have, like, this extravagant end game or something like Diablo has, which is probably not the case because the game just came out. Well. But
I'm going to be with you on that, too.
But the common ground that I usually find with you, before we have our differences, is that right now, I do like the game, and you and I both agree that from what we paid for, being $40, that the game is worth it. Any projections that I have against the future, I'm a little cautious about, but whenever I talk about those, I typically always say, you and I can agree on the fact that the game is fun right now. While all the bosses are fresh in our mind, while we're experiencing all the new bosses for the first time, the game is great. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and I have to say that technique did actually work on me, because it did make me like, all right, maybe it is still maybe a 7.5 for me, actually, instead, because I think I remember I raised it to like an 8 or a 9 or something like that. But after, we reached that common ground, we talked some more about it, I'm like, yeah, maybe it's still like a 7.5. Still a glorious game in my opinion, and I still not glorious. I think it's still a really good game, and I'm still enjoying it. But I think it still stays around the 7.5 score for me.
I agree.
After we talk more about it.
I think that also I don't want to make it seem like these are like manipulation techniques. It's simply just a way to avoid.
I'm just fucking with you. As soon as I heard it, I'm gonna fuck. I got to say something just to mess with it, because that's funny.
No, I honestly, given the same situation, I would do the exact same thing. But because I have invested a bit of time into these books, like, I am actually really passionate.
You see that, guys, right there? There's that common ground movie's trying to work on me.
Leave me alone.
There it is. He's
Okay.
trying to do it on me.
We'll just do the exact
Notice
opposite
that?
then. We'll just
I
do the
did.
exact opposite. Mike, fuck you, you're wrong. These books are my life now. It's not a phase, Mom. All right.
I agree with you. That's true.
No, stop manipulating me, you son of a bitch.
It's just so much fun when you just get into the, like, when you know it's happening too. It's like, oh, you're doing it. It's like, oh shit. I remember some people taking some psychology classes and like they would try using it and I'm like, oh, I see what you're doing. You're doing that. Like I wouldn't be calling, like I wasn't trying to like get mad. I'm like, I see they all go like, oh, does this work then? I'm like, I don't know if it does work then. If I know you're trying to do it.
Well, the goal
know?
basically is just
It's not really manipulating. It's kind of a way to help you
It's like
understand
diffusing.
each other. Yeah, diffusing a hot, heated argument. But usually the funny thing is, it's funny to see that because we don't really get like, we get heated, but we don't get mad at each other. We just get riled up with each other.
Speak for
So-
yourself. No, I'm kidding.
you son of a bitch.
Making
And
fun of
there's
my
just like a-
my readings, my book
There's just like a
smarts.
photo of me and Ben's desk with just a bunch of knife holes in it. So if you ever hears a bunch of thuds, it's just Ben stabbing my face with a knife.
Yeah, I mean, I do it for the sake of we probably want to keep doing the podcast, so that's why.
Yeah. These are good stress releasers. A lot
Yeah.
of fun.
If we got too heated with each other, you would not hear from us for a while. Probably what
yeah.
happened last year, actually. No, I'm kidding.
Probably nah. You moved to Taiwan and I started doing a whole new life career change. So we both like.
I'm
we had to
sure
put
the last-
things at the side.
I'm sure the last minute of the last episode that we did in 2017, whenever we stopped doing this in 2018, like before we said goodbye, I said something that just really pissed off Mike or something that was like, oh, and Fallout 76 is coming out soon. I'm pretty excited for that. And you just hear like dead silence on Mike's side. He's like, I'll talk to you later, Ben. And then just like a year and a half now, Mike is like, okay, maybe we could do the podcast again.
Yeah. Now they were both in agreement that it sucks. Oh, maybe we should go back and edit that last episode.
Yeah.
Just to do that.
It's a little post-production, snip and clip.
Yeah.
How was your week in terms of games, though? What'd you play?
Sadly, this week I had to do a lot of adult stuff, so I couldn't finish some games and all that.
Boo.
But I know, but I did finish my campaign at Heroes and Magic. Heroes Might and Magic 3. God, that's a tongue twister. Let me try to say that name. Heroes of Might and Magic 3, and finished that, which I'm glad. But once again, that game just pushes your shit in. It just bends you over, and it's a fucking tedious game too, where there's a lot of dead period in it, because how the game works is that you wait 7 turns, which is technically a week, so 7 days, and then you can buy more units. So it's like you just have to, and like when you buy more units, like every single type of unit that you have that you can make then gets resupplied, and you can buy more units. And it just like it's a real trudge. And like I forgot how much of like how much time there is of you really doing nothing in the game, just building up your army. Because a lot of times you've already explored everything then, and then you're just building up your army to finally push the shit in of the enemy. Which is something I do like, because most of the time when I play RTS games, I usually do like turtling, where I just build up a heavy defense and then just build up my units, then go out.
Yeah.
So I found great enjoyment of that. But this one, there's just so much stagnation, because in RTS, things are constantly moving, there's constant defenses. But this one, it's a turn-based game like Civ. So there's a lot of just like waiting, which I still like the game, but it made me realize like, wow, this game has aged, but it's not that it's old, just the style. I still find enjoyment, but something I definitely can no longer get into as much, just how much down period there is, and there's nothing to do. Because at least in like Civ, there's down period, but you're always constantly doing something each turn. There's diplomacy, something that happens all the time, which actually made me appreciate Civ a lot more. Playing Heroes of Might 3, but I finally beat it. I'm glad I did. I had great memories from it, and I still fully enjoyed it. But it was something that I don't think I'm going to be picking up again, though, just because of that. But I'm really glad I did. And after that, like in the last podcast, I talked about Diablo, and I saw that, and I wanted to play it.
Yeah.
And I did buy it, and I am playing it.
Okay.
And I'm loving it. It is the most simplest version of Diablo ever, where you just left click or right click. Because then your left click is your main attack, and then your right click is spells and stuff. It's just spells. And I went with warrior. So my guy is dumb as hell, and his name is Bob. And he just beats the shit out of everything. And it's hilarious, and I'm having so much fun with it.
You should have... It's Bob the Barbarian. You should have called him Bobarian.
Oh, damn it. I was just thinking of names, too. Like, I gotta name him something fun. And I was just like, what could I do? And I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. You're just Bob. And I just love it. Because Bob's just walking around the fucking church of the dungeon. The dungeon in the church is killing everything.
So there's no special, like, abilities or anything? It's just left click and right click?
Yeah, that's it. And then you have your potions. And then, like, you can find books so your character can learn spells, but you need to have high, I think it's just called magic. Because you level up your strength, magic, dexterity, and vitality. And those are only 4 things you can level up. And so all I'm doing is focusing on strength, dexterity, and vitality, which is obviously just health. And so I went with the warrior because I'm like, you know what? I remember before when I played this game, like Diablo 2 at least, I try to be unique and try to go, oh, let's do dexterity, be a cool archer. And now I'm like realizing, well, you're playing this by yourself, you got to be smart, and the warrior is always a class that can play by himself. So I'm like, go warrior. And I'm so glad I did. Because I'm having a lot of fun.
How many classes are there in the game?
There's 3. There is the warrior, the assassin, and the mage.
Okay.
And it doesn't really matter, honestly. I guess, like, I don't know what the difference... I didn't fully pay attention to the difference of the stats. But if you're a warrior, you can easily kind of also level up your mage to do more spells. And there are some, like, staffs in the game that gives you more magic levels, so you can learn books and then use those spells. As soon as you learn the book, you permanently know it, and you can use it any time as long as you have the appropriate magic level and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And... But man, like you said, the game is simple. It is a very simple game, which I didn't fully understand until I got this one random quest in the game, and the guy's like, "Oh, there was this rock that fell from the earth, fell from the sky, and then these people like were taken away, but then that carriage was attacked, and off the road over here, just north of us, and I looked over there and just couldn't find where the stone was at. I'm like, okay, and so." I tried finding the exit of the town, and when you're in the town, you don't have a map of the town. I'm like, well, that's weird. So, and you move really slow in this game, like incredibly slow. And this town's pretty big, and like compared to like how slow you move.
Okay.
And so I was checking the whole entire border of the town, just trying to find an exit to this road this guy was talking about. And I was typing in Google, I'm like, what is north of the town in Diablo 1? Like, what technically is north? Because I'm trying to find this fucking road he's talking about, to find this carriage that got, like, taken out by, like, these, like, bandits. And so then I finally did enough research to find, like, oh, yeah, there is no road. It's just in the dungeon. I'm like, oh, and then the thing is, like, yeah, this Diablo 1 is just the town and the dungeon, and that's it. And you maybe get, like, 4 side quests, I think maybe only 3 side quests from the town, and that's it. And everything's in the dungeon. I was like, son of a bitch. The game doesn't tell you anything about that at all. But it made it much more enjoyable for me. I'm like, okay, so the town is just a town where I come back to just to get more, like, to sell my shit and to get, more potions. I'm like, okay, cool. And then after I figured that out, it made so much more sense to me. And there's a lot of funny moments in the game, too, that I can see why people, like, fell in love with this game. Because as I was, like, a funny moment that I experienced just recently was I was in the dungeon, and all of a sudden I came across... this one goat person monster goes like, and all of a sudden I like, oh, I can talk to you. That's weird. And so I talked to him. He was like, please don't kill me. I'm like, what? He's like, if you don't kill me, fortune will come to you later.
Kill him.
I was like, all right, I won't kill you. And that was like on level, I think 5 or 4. I'm already in level 9, and there's only 12 levels of the dungeon in the whole entire game. And so I'm at this point, and I'm like, motherfucker, I'm not going to Google this because I just want to get to the bottom of the level because it's still a side quest on my thing. If I get all the way to the end and there's not a fucking thing that I get out of this, I'm walking all the way back to this dungeon to kick your fucking ass. Good. And so, like, I'm pretty excited about this. Like, I'm kind of hoping that I don't get anything because I just want to walk all the way back just to get even more mad, just to kick this goat's ass. Because I'm really getting annoyed that I've not got anything out of this keeping him alive.
It's been like months later. The goat has, or like, you know,
Totally
the goat has
forgot
like a
about me.
family. Yeah, he's like got a new job and a house and everything, and he sees you coming up over the hill, and he's like, "Oh fuck!" And you're like, "There you are, you motherfucker! Get over here, you
Ooh, it's
son
like
of a
good
bitch!
fortune. Take
You
your
owe me
fucking
fortune,
leg.
you little."
It's so good, and it's surprising that I'm becoming more and more Diablo fan ever since I've been playing this game. Even like the simply and like I'm super excited to pick up Diablo 2 to play because of this, even more so because I know that Diablo 2 it has way more features in it, and I'm just like getting so pumped to
How
like
far
to play
did
the next
you
one.
get into Diablo? Well, first, let me. How far are you in Diablo 1? How many hours do you think you've put in?
Let's see. Let me just open up good old games. Let's see here. I have put exactly 5 hours in the game.
Okay.
So it's a short game.
Well, I'm looking into it right now on this website. This is just an average polling of how long it takes other people to beat it. This says the main story is about 14 and a half hours. So something tells
Really?
me that maybe this is
Maybe
with
not.
additional content. Maybe this is
Yeah,
something
because there
else.
is a DLC called the Hellfire expansion, which I'm not gonna dive into, mostly because it was not actually done by Blizzard, and I'm not nothing because I'm not against that, but like I'm having fun in this game. But as soon as I beat this main campaign, I'm done. I've had my fun with it because like there's not much else to it. Having more of the game is not going to add anything else to my experience because there's Diablo 2. So I'm excited to finish Diablo 1 and then hop over to Diablo 2 because I think they're probably trying to include the DLC called Hellfire, which adds another whole campaign to it.
Yeah, and I mean, this website is also saying that Diablo 2's main story takes 35 hours. Like, that is not the case. Typically, this website is pretty good, but I mean, maybe it's just because
Okay.
I've played Diablo 2 a million fucking times, but I mean, give me that game and I'll finish it in like 8 hours or something.
Yeah, that seems a lot more sense, especially how old the games are. Like, I don't care who you are. There's no way that these games are that long.
It
And
it depends on how you raise your character is the other thing. Like, are you
Yeah.
looking to get your guy to level 99 or are you just looking to finish the campaign? You know, because that's a difference of like double the playtime.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, this hour of gameplay is a little bit fluctuated because there are some times where I just had it open a bit while I did some side stuff like to, I don't know, clean something out, fold some clothes, and come back and then just start playing it again. But honestly, I don't really need to keep it open because you can save anywhere you want to, and it'll keep you exactly there, which is fucking awesome and fun. And then and also the game starts up in like in a second, like not even a second. It takes it like a millisecond to start up because the game's so simple. But God forgive if you fucking forget to get another scroll to teleport you back to town, because you're gonna haul your ass up back that dungeon, and you better be hopeful that you're next to like a checkpoint exit, because otherwise you're walking for quite a bit all the way out of that fucking dungeon.
Yeah, that's Diablo 2 as well.
It is like I really appreciate Diablo 3 and getting rid of you needing scrolls because the scroll costs only $200 in Diablo 1, and I am fucking raked with money. I am stacked, and to the point where the money's actually filling up my inventory. Yet I still can't sleep with the whore in the town, which pisses me off. There's only one whore in the town, and all she does is gossip. I'm like, I just want to buy you. But apparently I'm not rich enough for her even to suggest her services at all. So I don't know how much money I need
Why,
to
is she just like
sleep with this chick.
talking down to you saying that you can't afford her or what?
Well, basically, if I had to ask, obviously I can't afford her, so I guess I have to wait until I get some more money. And I'm telling you this much, I'm rich as fuck right now, and I still can't afford this bitch. And it's really pissing me off. And all there is this hoe, the tavern guy, the blacksmith, the witch, Cain, the healer, a drunk guy. Just all he is some guy behind a house who's drunk and doesn't give me anything. I talk to him every time. He's still drunk and still stupid. And then there's also the fucking gimp, the kid across the river who's called Peg Leg Willie or something like that, who charges me $50 just to see what he has to sell, and it's always shit. And I just want to kill this fucker.
Wait, is
So
his
I'm
name
really just
Wirt by chance?
I think it's Wart the Peg Leg something.
Ha!
Something Peg Leg. And I'm like, he's just some stupid gimp kid who's by a tree by the river. And I'm like, I really hope that when I'm giving the gold, I'm just throwing in the river or something like that, because he has nothing good. But once again, I'm loaded with money, and it just like, it's so funny because like I have so much gold, and it's just taking up more and more inventory because each like you only have like 5,000 gold in each slot. It doesn't stack at all after 5,000. I'm like, damn it.
There's a great reference to Wirt in Diablo 2. It's how you get to the secret cow level. You need Wirt's peg leg, basically.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. That is like, it makes me so happy that he's dead and you take his peg leg.
Yeah. You
I am so happy to hear that.
You pillage his peg leg off of him, and then you use it to get to the secret cow level. It's such a great hidden secret. But that's funny that he's like, because the only time I've ever known him is just like some corpse in the middle of this town. And so it's funny that he actually like plays a role in the previous game, and then like you just see him dead and burned in the sequel.
Yeah, because in the first one he doesn't give you any quests at all either. And so far, like the only quest I got from the town was the Moon Rock for the blacksmith, who then gives you a ring, which is a fucking baller ass ring. And then the tavern guy, who's the monster stole his sign. I'm like, oh, okay. And like, I just opened this one chest and this giant fucking sign just comes out of it. I'm like, what the fuck? And so like, it actually had to put in inventory to walk all the way back to him. And it's funny, it's like, oh, I actually didn't really want the sign back, but it saves me a couple of bucks. Here's a helmet. And the helmet was absolute garbage too. I was like, I mean, at least it was more than a town portal. I was like, well, at least I don't have to, like, at least I get some money back for bringing it back to you.
At least it's not a fucking piece of paper. I don't do any reading. I murder things.
Yeah. But the game is so much fun, and which I found, I don't know, I just, like, man, you know the, I guess, it's a game, I don't know what you call these Steam stores, like, you know, there's the Epic Games or Steam, and then there's Good Old Games. Mm-hmm. Man, Good Old Games is just like, after buying Diablo and playing it and having a blast, I've been looking through like their selections. They have a lot of good old games, and I'm like, I'm pretty fucking happy to see that, because after playing Diablo, it made me realize that, man, during our time growing up, we had some, excellent games, and it's kind of funny because there's so much like games that come out today. It's such a rarity where I'm just so excited to play it. It's more like, and I don't think it's really nostalgia anymore because I never played Diablo 1 or 2. And I'm just having just so much fucking fun with it, though. It's stupid how much fun I'm having playing just Diablo 1.
I'll have to check it out. I'll have to check out just Good Old Games in general.
Yeah, they updated their store, and so it's Good Old Games Galaxy. And I downloaded it on my computer, and it opens up instantly. It's efficient. The store's easy to go through. You know, they have like their store. All right, as I say that, it's acting weird now. That's funny. Oh, that's because I don't click at a highlight over it. You know, they have a new release section. They have a bestseller section. They have an on sale now, and then below that they separate to action, adventure, indie, RPG, shooter, simulation, and like it's just really cool in how they just separate everything. And their sales are really fucking good, and their prices are fantastic.
Shit. Well, this might be a little premature to say, but I think we found this week's sponsor, Mike. Sponsoring
I know, right?
Good Old Games this week. There you go. You earned it.
They're having like fucking Star Wars Battlefront anniversary sale up for 19 hours now. 75% off of all their old Star Wars games before EA took it and fucking tore it to the ground. Motherfuckers. Ah, shit, they got Republic Commando. Damn.
So,
But yeah, so I've been just playing that. Back to my week. Oh, and then I've also saw 2 movies this week as well.
Yeah.
Which I'm happy about that I saw. Mostly thanks to my girlfriend. There was this one old movie that she introduced me to, and that's called Drop Dead Gorgeous. That movie was pretty damn funny. It came out in 1999, and it's about this town which was throwing it was like the last year, it was like the last beauty pageant to ever happen in the town, or this particular, because it was a particular type of beauty pageant, and so it was all kind of documentary style. And this town was kind of this middle of the nowhere town. You know, everyone's kind of southern and just very simple lifestyle down there. And all of the contestants are just dying. And it's hysterically funny. It's great. They're just dying these like the most horrible way ever. And people are going like, that's terrible. But back to the beauty pageant. And I had a blast watching that.
I was going to say, it sounded initially like a documentary, but clearly now this is not a documentary. This is just a comedy.
Yeah, it's a comedy. And it's a really funny comedy. It's super funny. I think you definitely I think you get a good laugh out of it too, Ben. It's on Hulu. And that's why we saw it on it, because I still had my subscription with Hulu because I used it to watch the next season of One Punch Man.
Yeah, I'm gonna write that down. Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Another one that you're gonna like, because my girlfriend came across after watching that, was a movie that I don't know how recent this one actually is, but it has some actors in it that was pretty good. And it's called Tragedy Girls. Have you ever seen that movie?
No.
So that one's about these girls who are murderers, and they do that just to help their blog and their Twitter accounts, because they report on mysterious death and murders and all that stuff.
So they commit the murder and then report on it?
Yes. And it's really funny. It's in today's, let's see, it came out in 2017, and it's in modern time, you know, with Twitter, and, you know, people doing all these blogs, and, you know, Twitter becoming really big. And they're these girls in high school. And it doesn't take itself seriously at all. You can tell that right away, because, they call this one dude to kill him, and they're literally calling in front of him while he's working his motorcycle across the street in their car. You know, it's like, well, that's just silly. So the movie doesn't take itself, you know, serious, the idea this can easily happen. It's a really fun slasher movie, and I had so much fun watching it. And they have, do you remember the X-Men girl from Deadpool?
Yeah.
She's one of the main murderer girls. She's these girls are the main characters. And then
the Teenage Warhead girl?
Yeah, Teenage Warhead. Yeah, she's a really good actor in this movie too. She does a fantastic job.
Okay.
And then, do you remember, this came out recently, The Boys, or was it The Bad Boys or something like that?
The Boys, the superhero one?
Yeah, so the main guy in that is also in this movie too, and he's he's not a main, he's like a sub-main character in the movie, and he does a fantastic job as well.
Okay. And what was this called again?
Tragedy Girls. It's a really funny movie, and it's only an hour and 38 minutes long, so it doesn't drag on, which was nice.
Yeah, I'll check it out too. So Drop Dead
There we
Gorgeous
go.
And Tragedy Girls.
Yeah, it has Craig Robertson in it too, the guy from the black guy from the Hot Tub Time Machine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it had some really good actors, and my girlfriend just found it, and we just started watching it, and I was just on my computer, and all of a sudden I was like, no, I'm going to actually just sit down and watch this. And it was really good. The deaths were well done too. The quality of what is it? Because they didn't do CGI. They didn't do any CGI. It was all just cosmetics, which was fucking fantastic. This is a great slasher film. What it reminds me of is The Babysitter. Did you ever see that movie?
Yeah, I love The Babysitter.
Yeah, you'll like this one too. I still like The Babysitter more, but this is exactly the same realm of The Babysitter.
Okay.
So it's that kind of seriousness into it. So come in that mindset, knowing what the movie is like. It's not oh, this can actually happen, or this makes total sense. It's no, it knows what it is. It's a funny slasher movie. And I'm kind of noticing a comeback lately in that in movies now, is that the slasher films are making a strong comeback, which I'm happy to see.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's just people dying in horrible ways, but with a slight comedic tone to it.
Sure. Yeah, I mean I like that
though.
I was just gonna say, I heard the reason that slasher became a film series, I guess supposedly, if you're gonna dive in heavy into movie theory, I don't know how much I believe this, but they were saying that the slasher, a lot of murderers happen as a result of sexual fantasy or something. That's why we have the woman is the damsel in distress, and the killer is typically a big masculine figure. And I was reading about how Freddy, Jason, Chucky, all of them wield knives as a way of penetrating and killing their innocent victims. I don't know how much I want to feed into that, but I think that
you don't get that tone in this movie, which is nice. It doesn't try to be. It's also not in your face about anything oh, these are women killing people, so it's women power. No, it's really just, hey, these are it's a very well done movie with no like anything in your face or anything like that, or try to make a statement.
Well, I mean, neither were the other movies. I'm just saying that the idea of like a knife killing someone, it is reminiscent of this idea of like a sexualized like that's why you see so much
you do
like
get that
sex.
a bit actually. You do get that in this movie a bit. And it's not like, you know, nothing actually sexual. So actually, that is a very good point, actually.
But they were saying that's why horror films are typically so sexual. You know, there's like the teenagers banging in the car or something like that. Yeah. It's because like sex and horror, you know, love and romance versus like, you know, scared to death. That's why those two things go hand in hand. They were saying slasher is a genre that is basically like a love story to that connection of like, you know, love and death, basically.
Yeah, and I can see that because when I think about that, there was a kind of like a tone like that, but not in an awkward way. Because once again, they're supposed to be teenagers and all that. Mm-hmm. But I can totally understand that. And what I really enjoyed about what made this really make me enjoy this movie too is that even though these kids were in high school, there was no stupid high school drama shit though at all. None of that. There's none of that awkward. Oh, you know, we're just growing up and all that stuff. No, none of that was in the movie at all. It's like these characters have like no redeeming qualities of why they're like this in any bit of the way, which just makes it even more fun to watch. Mm-hmm. It's because they come from like right away, immediately shows you them coming from like the most perfect families ever. Like one's extremely rich and one's extremely poor, but both their parents are just super supportive and is always kind and nice to them. And they're always like then it shows you them being totally in love with their parents too, like, you know, just like a totally normal family. Yeah, then you have these girls that are just fucking just killing people and just want to just kill everything and have a blast at it. It's just a straight up fun movie. You don't have to worry about, there's no messages in this one at all. It just overall, there's not even a message about social media at all either in this movie. It's just a movie about these girls who love killing people and who want to be famous without being thrown in jail. That's what this movie is about.
I know that this is probably a really immature stance, but I love when media tries to just not have any morals or anything. Like, that's how Adventure Time was. Do you remember, like, how many episodes of Adventure Time would just end with the character being like, well, that was weird. Like, there was, like, a clear, obvious lesson to learn, and then he was like, yeah, let's just not think about that ever again. Like, basically just disregarding the whole thing.
It's like, it's kind of funny to think of that way, but I absolutely love, I think that's why I loved Adventure Time 2 as well, and that's why I like about this movie too. It's like, there's literally no message. It's just a fun movie, you know? It's like, I think maybe it's because I have this, like, for me, I have this idea, it's like, I don't need media telling me, oh, this is something important that you need to think about. It's like, no, I'm an adult. I know what I need to think about and stuff. I don't need you to preach to me about anything. And I think that's why I maybe enjoy this movie even more. So, because it's exactly like Adventure Time. There is no message at all.
All right.
It's great.
Let's.
So what about you? So that's been my week. How about you, Ben?
So I've played 2 different games here. The first game was Celeste, so I ended up beating that this week. Which is funny, like, it feels like I beat that forever ago. Have you ever played a game that's like... I feel like this is a bad term to say it's forgettable, but have you ever played a game that you're like, wow, I can't believe I beat that, like, 4 days ago. That seems like forever ago.
Can't remember the last time I felt like that about a game.
I don't know. Celeste was interesting. I thought that if you're unfamiliar with Celeste, basically it's a game that's like Super Meat Boy in the sense that it's a very fast-paced platforming game. And like each area is kind of like its own miniature puzzle. So like you navigate from, you know, the left side of the map to the right side of the map, and then, you know, okay, next puzzle. And if you ever die, then it puts you back on the left side of the map or whatever.
It's like, you know what, that's exactly when I felt like that was with Meat Boy. And, you know, I had fun playing it, but man, I just like, I can't remember anything really about it at all.
See, I'm different. I liked Meat Boy a lot, but the problem that I have with Celeste is they put in this... I feel like I'm going to make a lot of enemies here because Celeste was a game that was generally praised for being great. I think
that's why we have this.
I think that the gameplay... What's that?
That's why we have this podcast, so we can tell people to shut the fuck up and tell them they're wrong.
Yeah. Get the hell out of here. No manipulation techniques this episode, bitches. No. The reason that I think Celeste failed a little bit is because there was so much talking and dialogue that it kind of threw off how fast the gameplay was. I mean, you would be like, jump, dash, wall jump, wall jump, dash, grab this thing, dash, dash, and then, like, you'd be doing all this crap, and then you would get to one scene, this person's like, let me tell you my life story there, Sonny Jim. It's like, oh, God, no.
No. That makes complete utter sense. I can understand why that's incredibly annoying.
Like, both of those, I'm fine with a story. I'm fine with incredibly fast gameplay. But to put those together, ugh.
And can you skip it?
No, you can't.
Oh, that's the word. Man, that's what's made me stop so many games. Games I love playing, but have the most annoying just dialogue in it that you can't skip. I'm like, no, I can't. That's just, like, exactly why I hate Mass Effect. Like, Mass Effect has some really good gameplay, but the talking is so bad and long. A lot of times, like, I don't give a fuck. Just let me play the game.
Yeah. No, this game had not the best pacing. I mean,
yeah.
Like, in comparison to Meat Boy, I know that you just said you don't like Meat Boy, but hear me out for a second. If you play a level of Meat Boy, you get to the end, you get to the, Bandage Girl, and all that happens is the bad guy comes up, punches Bandage Girl, and then takes her and goes. Like, it takes about half a second.
I like the game a lot. I love the game, but it's like you said, like, if you don't remember much of it, and that's like the feeling I have. But no, I was just gonna say that's the advantage of Meat Boy, is that it just goes. There is no pause in that game.
Exactly. You can just go from level to level. I mean, even going, like, the loading times for levels are fast. Going to, like, the alternate hellish levels, or whatever you call it, going into warp zones, everything is just like, jump to the level you want, go, you're in, start, great. And then each level to level is also seamless. There's, like, 0 loading time between it.
Yeah.
Celeste, in comparison, I mean, it, like, each level starts out, and typically there's a bit of a story, and then something happens in the middle of of each level, and then it always ends. So there's, like, 3 parts where it breaks that gameplay, and you meet these characters, and like, the storytelling is good. Like I said, both parts of the game are good. It's just a bad marriage between the fast and the slow. So, like, the conversations are interesting if it was its own game, but it's not. Like, half of the dialogue is, like, your main character's, like, basically she has confidence problems, and she's, I don't know if I would say depressed, but she has, like, the idea is she's the one holding herself back. And so a lot of her dialogue...
she's a little bitch. Gotcha.
Well, a lot of her dialogue is just like, I don't know if I can do that. And, like, it's just so repetitive. And it's good, but it's
I
like...
hate those characters.
I'm not in the spot to listen to this right now. Like, I just weaved my way through a fucking cornfield of thorns, basically. And now it's like... Let me tell you about why I can't do anything and I'm a piece of shit. It's like, no, let's get back to the fun part, please.
It's like, bitch, did you not see what you just did? And you're still acting like this?
Yeah,
and now people are just like, oh, it's a mental issue. But it's like, yeah, it's a video game character. Come on.
In any other situation, it would be forgivable. I think that the story was decent. I know I'm shitting on it, but I think the story was decent. The thing is, make it a fucking separate game.
Yeah, I totally get you. And you're not alone. I've heard reviews about the game, and there's people that praise it for the story and say it's a great, deep message. After hearing you, that's a message that I don't really care for. I don't like those type of characters, especially when they do all that amazing shit and they say, like, oh, I still can't do anything. I'm like, fuck you. Girl pair. Then other people are exactly like you, saying, like, it's a great game, but the story just kills the pace.
Yeah, it's not that the story is bad. I just want to emphasize that. Neither parts of the game are bad. It's just, it feels extremely misplaced. If you're going to give a story in a game that's as fast as Celeste is, make it a fast story. Like the same way that Super Meat Boy, the fast story is, you're trying to get Bandage Girl, like, that's it. And there are some times that they make it a little more complicated than that, but they always keep that pace going. This game has these massive, like, 5-minute breaks in between, just dodging, dashing, all this crap. So that's where I am with Celeste. I beat it. If I was going to give a final score with it, I'd probably say about a 7. I think that it did what it had to do. Like I said, I enjoyed both parts of the game, so a 7, but it was just a weird union of those two things. So
yeah, I got it free from Epic Games, so that's something I'll look into when I have some downtime and I don't have anything else to play. Mm-hmm. And actually, not to derail you on your week, but dude, Epic Games, game that's free this month.
Yeah, I saw that.
Did you see that? It's all 3 of the Batman Arkham Asylum games and all 3 of the Lego Batman games.
Yeah.
So you get 6 of those games for free, and those are all high quality games.
And
well, I think that like the last Batman game got a lot of shit on for the PC version.
Well, okay,
But,
so Batman
quality.
Arkham Asylum and Batman Arkham City, the first 2 of the 3 Batman games, are also Game of the Year versions. Like, those are the full, like, DLC, like, the main DLC packages, all that. Yeah.
Oh my god. I'm so glad. It's like, I knew it was going to be something crazy, but I just didn't think they were just going to give us all 3 of those for free, and then all 3 of the Lego Batman games. And even though, like, and the Lego games are fucking fun. Like, I haven't only played one of them. I know they're kid games, but they're just straight up fun games.
All Lego games are generally fun. I think Lauren, I think your girlfriend would love to play these games.
I know, I'm really excited to play that with her and all that stuff, to hook it up to the TV and just have fun with it. Mm-hmm. I haven't told her that we should definitely give these a go, because we could just play co-op together and all that. And so I think it'd be a blast.
Definitely. No, I
was just blown away when I saw that, because I was super excited, to see what it was, and then just like I think the last podcast I said that it was going to be like 6 games because there were 6 different photos, but I was still shocked when I saw it in the end. I was like, damn.
Yeah, it completely took me for a loop. I didn't think there was going to be more than like 2 games if they were giving, free games out. But no, the Lego Batman collection and the Arkham trilogy, that's insane. Yeah, I don't know, crazy.
But yeah, but I just, because after bringing that up, I had to talk, because I totally forgot to do that with my week. But so after playing Celeste, did you play any other games?
Yeah, I did. This is probably going to be the funniest part of the podcast. I have been waiting to talk about Final Fantasy VIII, like, since I bought it 3 days ago. There's some funny shit going on in this game, man.
Oh, yeah? I was pretty... Excuse me, damn. Congested there. Because we talked a little bit before the podcast, I think like yesterday or something like that. So you told me that, and I was pretty excited to hear how your gameplay was going.
Yeah, no, it's so good. The story is confusing as hell. So I love the game, but I'm not going to pretend that the criticisms aren't there. Let's start out with the first and basic thing, though. I wrote 3 things down that are just hilarious. I think I'm gonna be in tears by the end that I'm like saying this, because I've been dying to tell you this for a while, and I was like, for the sake of the podcast, I want your true, honest reactions. Okay, so in Final Fantasy VIII and Final Fantasy IX, there is a card game called Triple Triad that you can play. Mm-hmm. And it's just something that you can do in your free time. There are valuable cards and like unique cards that you can get from certain people, and with all of the main characters, they actually have their own card. So like the main guy is Squall, you can get a Squall card. Like the second guy you meet is Zell, you can get a Zell card. So you have to play certain people to get these unique cards. For example, you have, if you want to get the Zell card, you have to go to Zell's house, like where he grew up. Like, you all play as teenagers in a like a mercenary school, like a battle school. So you go to the village that Zell is from, and you go and you play his mom in cards, and she has the Zell card. And it is so funny, because you first go in and Zell's like, "Hi, Mom," and then you go and you beat her in cards, and you take her son's card from her. Like Zell is in my group. He's watching me like beat his mom's ass in Triple Triad. And then once you beat someone, you get to take one of their cards from. So, like, in my head, I'm just imagining Zell sitting behind me, and he's like, "Dude, I made my mom that card of me. You're not gonna, don't take my card, dude. I'm not even," like I can just see him like sitting behind me, like, come on, man, that's me.
All I see is you looking drunkenly into his eyes as you're taking the card from his mother. It's like, you're not gonna do shit.
His mom's like crying. She's like, "I'm always gonna remember you, Zell," and you just ripping the card up in front of her.
I don't even want it.
But, oh my god, yeah, I could already feel my eyes kind of like watered up here, because it's so funny. This happens more than one time, too. Like, you're in this battle school, like I said, and there's this headmaster, the headmaster Sid, and he's a really cool dude, but you can only get to play him at cards every once in a while. So once again, he has a really interesting card. He has, what is it? I think he's got the Cypher card, who is one of the main bad guys. But, like, basically, the headmaster, he's like, Squall, I need your help and to, like, you know, to save the world and all this. And like, in the middle of, like, this world domination thing, you're like, hold up, let's play cards. And, like, as he's asking you for help and, like, as you're saving the world, you beat him and you take the only card that he cares about, this one fucking Cypher card, a triple triad. It's like, fuck you. Now I'm gonna save your world, bitch. And, like, once again, in my head, I'm thinking, like, in real life, this headmaster, he's like, Squall, I'm gonna flunk you out of this fucking school if you don't give me that card back. And Squall's like, what's in it for me? What do I get? You want this Cypher card really bad, don't you? And he's like, you motherfucker, you know? But this happens over and over and over again. Like, you have to play specific people to get specific cards, and it is just the funniest thing in the world. Like, I don't know.
It's like the most important people in the most awkward time you can think of.
Exactly.
So can we put this game another time when the world's not in trouble? It's like, no, I need that card. It's like, what if I give it to you? No, I have to beat you.
Just the funniest thing was the Zell card, because you take it from his mom. His son has gone to school in a battle academy, like, away from their village. He's a teenager, and you travel to their village, and you you beat his mom, and you take his card, and you bring Zell with you. Zell, let's go back to school.
And then you just leave. So you don't even stay there at night, you don't stay for dinner, you just go in there, take your card, and then just leave.
It's just the funniest.
It's like, can I stay, wait, so they just say, you know, hey, with the mom's like, no. We got the card. We're going.
At least stay for dinner. We're done here, bitch.
You're no longer used to me.
I got what I need from you. You're dead to me. You're never going to see Zell again. No.
I'm going to personally make sure he dies in combat now.
So.
Make his card extra rare.
So that's the first thing, is that this card game is like... It's great. I'm happy that they have it in there, but
the card game is actually the main plot of the game, and the story is just a side thing.
Exactly. The way I'm playing Final Fantasy VIII is that it is a card game with a minor plot, with a minor subplot of world domination.
Oh shit.
Okay. The second part about the game that's funny is that like within the first disc of the game, there is this assassination that like the mercenaries, your group is called in to enact. Excuse me.
Oh man.
So, you go to this town, you go to this big city, and this guy, Calloway, he has a mansion, he's a really important political figure, and he's like, okay, let me show you all of the plans. You're gonna be in this watchtower. The person's gonna be in this car. You're gonna trap the car, and you're gonna take the shot from the watchtower. But like,
yeah, I remember that. I remember that scene.
But the funniest thing about this is this. Keep in mind, this is a political assassination attempt. Like, this is basically, like, not to put like
treason.
Not to put like JFK in like a funny spot or anything. But like, it's basically like, you know, the guy, the sniper on the grassy knoll, or the sniper in the building. Like, it's basically if someone was walking in the middle of the city, and just like basically he leads you through the street, and he's like, the car is gonna come over, like it's like a very crowded street, and the guy's like, the car is gonna come over this way, it's gonna do one turn, the sniper everyone, the sniper that's gonna kill this guy, the sniper's gonna be in the building over here. Team B, your team is gonna be trapping the sorceress that we're going to murder, by the way, everyone, we're gonna murder the sorceress. Like you're in the middle of the
prime leader.
You're gonna. It's like this huge assassination. This guy's leading you down the street, like pointing and like yelling everything out. He's like, it's so funny. He's like, the sniper rifle is fully loaded, high caliber in the tower. Don't forget.
You're gonna blow her head right off.
Yeah,
just blow it. It's gonna be blood everywhere.
He's just like yelling it down the street, and people are just walking by like, whatever. I don't give a fuck.
We're gonna JFK this bitch. I don't know who JFK is, but we're just gonna use him as an example.
It was just, it's so, like, the execution
I just love the
of it
idea
is
now.
so funny.
Oh, I'm sorry. I would just love it now. They just edit. Just say, like, you're gonna JFK this bitch right here.
Oh my god. I mean,
I feel bad for making fun of it, but I mean, goddamn.
There was no way I could have painted it another way, though. It's basically like a public assassination, but instead of just like having a scale model of the city, or instead of like talking it behind closed doors, he's like, let me walk you down the fucking street and show you where all this shit's gonna be. You, the sniper, the guy who's gonna pull the goddamn trigger, you're gonna
murder the high priestess. The most important person that everyone knows.
See this cashier at the front door? You're gonna beat the shit out of her. Hello, hi, ma'am. You're gonna beat the shit out of her so you can get to the back entrance. Yeah,
I would like a cup of coffee. Yeah, and now when you're getting this cup of coffee, you're gonna beat the shit out of her. Don't do the exact same thing.
Don't tip her. Look at her fucking face. Don't tip her. She is a bitch. No, I'm kidding. But
here's your coffee. Thank you.
But anyway, it was just the funniest thing.
Fuck me. It's great.
He's just like yelling down the street about this assassination. He's like, it's gonna happen in 5 minutes, everyone. You better around here 5 minutes.
By the way, though, I'm coining that term, JFKing that bitch. Every single time I get a headshot now, I'm gonna say, man, I just JFK that bitch.
That is. I'm really not happy that this is gonna be the result. That is going to be the result of this conversation. If there's one thing I don't want to last from this conversation, it's the fact that I'm making...
Dude, I may be patting myself in the back, but that's pretty fucking funny to say that in the middle of a game when you get a headshot.
Alright, there you go. I'm going to give all that credit over to you. So all hateful emails, wecan'tcode@gmail.com. Just feel free to address Mike exclusively on that one.
It's like hearing like the game saying headshot. Just says JFK'd.
God, no. Alright, so the last thing I want to get to...
Oh, shit.
The last thing I want to get to is the story itself. And I know that the story is shit, but basically, this one's not as funny as the other two. But, like, I played the game when I was younger, and I'm playing the game now. I'm fucking 28 years old. Like, I'm not glossing over the story in any sense of it, but I've had to look up... Since playing the game from like 3 or 4 days ago, since buying it 3 or 4 days ago, I've had to look up like 2 different websites on like what the fuck is actually going on. Because, dude, there's some weird stuff in this whole story. Basically, you're this mercenary, there's some like organization or like some other nation that's like trying to go for world domination. They hire a sorceress, the sorceress kills the main leader of that, like, rebel nation, and now, like, the rebel nation is just like, okay, whatever, you're our leader now, like, as if no one would, like, fucking care that they just killed, that she just killed, like, their president, basically, and then, like...
Yeah, that's how it goes. As soon as the person that does, wherever country had that person is now loses, instantly.
There's, like, this other weird subplot about, like, how your mercenary base is like... Headmaster Sid, if he's the main guy, or like this fucking alien that lives in the basement is the main... Like, there's a weird fucking thing going on there. I don't know. Like, suddenly you just show up and there's an alien in the basement. He's like, I've been here forever. And then you kill him like 5 minutes later. Like, there's such an unnecessary amount of plot that goes into, like, revealing anything about this alien. And then, like, the first time you see him, you just fucking kill him. And, like, that's the end of that. And, like, before even meeting him, you hear about him, like, an hour in advance, and there's, like, pandemonium and panic, and everyone's running around and killing each other at the school. And then, like, like, an hour later, the whole thing's fucking resolved, because you go and see him, and then you murder him, and it's like, okay, there's that. It's like, why the fuck did that even matter, then? Why is this even part of the story? So, it is weird, but, I mean, I know I'm shitting all over it, but I would still... I don't know if it's still my favorite Final Fantasy game, but it's still in, like, the prime.
No, yeah.
Final Fantasy VII...
It's like the same thing with me with Heroes Might and the Magic 3. I still loved it, but now replaying, I'm like, oh, wow, this... I like you, but I don't like you as much anymore.
I like you, but I don't like you.
Yeah.
Can we still just be friends, Final Fantasy VIII?
Yeah.
So, that's how I feel about that.
It's kind of funny, too, because, like, Diablo 1 story is straight and simple. He talked to the tavern guy. He goes like, yeah, we had a mad king. He lost his son in our town, so he killed half the people in the town, and didn't find him. Still couldn't find him, so he started turning his people, so his people killed him, and then he put a curse on everyone, and now he's back, and now for some reason he took over the church and is killing everyone in the church. So can you just go in there and just kill him for us? I'm like, and that's the plot of the game. He's like, some guy at a bar says, hey, can you kill our old king who came back to life and now is like a ghost with all of his people he cursed too? That'd be great.
And
like,
here's
okay.
5 gold. Get to work.
Basically, it's really funny. It's like, that's the main quest is from the tavern guy. It's not from Kane. It's not from anyone else. If you don't know who Kane is like the main character that is always like the wise old man.
Yeah, his old Krusty. He's Yoda.
Yeah. And he lives fucking forever, apparently. And he doesn't give you the quest at all. He's some old fucker. That's all he is in Diablo 1. He can also identify items for you. But you get your mission from the tavern guy. And he goes like, yeah, the church over there. Our old king who died after killing half the town, that's why there's no one really here, came back, and then the people he put a curse on also came back with him as his legion soldiers and all that stuff. Can you go kill him for us? That'd be great.
As the guy's just like
alive,
drinking
bring him back too.
As the guy's like drinking a double rum and coke at the bar, he's like, "Yeah, life is shit because like undead king or whatever. Hey, I dare you to kill him." And then
Bet you can't.
Like months later, like the king is dead, and you're like, that man inspired me, and he's like a drunkard at a bar, like, yeah.
Well, see, there's always a drunkard in the town, and he doesn't do anything. He's just drunk behind a house, and he's a little behind a house, and he's just drunk, and he doesn't do anything.
Dude,
it's like, okay.
Behind the house drinking is the best kind of drinking.
But that's all you need in a story. It's like, okay, cool, go kill the king. And they're like, all right. It's like, by the way, our church for some reason has 12 levels of dungeons in it. It's like, why does your church have 12 levels of dungeons in it? It's not a big church.
That is because the government gave us a surplus of funding on the church, and we were like, what the fuck do we do with it? And they're like, I don't know, build 13 basements.
Yeah, basically, that would be just fine. Just going in there. As you go further down, it gets dingy and dingier. And so, like, on level 9, it just becomes a fucking cave. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? It's like, what's going on?
You guys didn't even try to make this into a church. This is clearly hell.
Yeah, basically. And it's in the world's smallest town with no one living in it anymore. Well, given half the town was murdered. Well, they said more than half the town was killed.
The church has more square footage underground than the whole town does above it.
It does. It's the funniest shit ever. I'm like, okay. And by the way, because the town doesn't look destroyed at all. There's still like only like 6 houses. So when he says like, yeah, I killed like more than half the town, I'm like, so what is that, like 3 people? Because there's only like 6 houses here. And the witch lives in a shack. It's like, what? And by the way, the witch has no reason to live in the shack in the town because everyone likes the witch too. And the witch likes the townspeople. I'm like, why are you living in a shack then? All the way over here. I have to walk my ass all the way over here to get a town portal, then walk all the way back to the portal. It's like, bitch, get in the town.
Just brew yourself up a mansion or something.
Yeah. It's the funniest shit. There's plenty of vacant houses. The hell, more than half the town is dead. It sounds like he just killed, like, Bob or something like that. It's like, oh, yeah, the guy stabbed Bob. Now it goes more than half the town. Like, fuck me.
This might be my favorite podcast that we've made.
No. Just you bring up the ridiculous of that story, remind me, yeah, the storyline in this one's really funny, too. Especially when they say, he killed more than half the town. It's like, there's only, like, 7 huts here. What the fuck are you talking about? It doesn't sound like a bad deal.
More than half the town. He killed, like, 4 people.
We thought he was crazy. You know, he was looking for his son, you know, the prince. Yeah, it didn't give him the right to kill 4 of us, even though he was lost in our town.
He killed half the town. That's 4 people. You're like, bitch, I killed like 80 people just walking walking down the main road to get here.
Exactly.
Do you know how many murderers and raiders there are right outside the goddamn gate?
It literally counts how many times you killed a specific enemy. And I've killed this one like type of enemy like I think 160 times already now. I'm like, motherfucker, I think I've killed like 20 towns by now.
Are you guys gonna be telling negative stories about me after I leave, talking all passive aggressively behind my back, like, oh, that guy's an asshole?
Jesus, I can see why the king put a curse on you fuckers.
Yeah. All right, moving forward, Mike. Also, I wanted to mention before we get into our top 5. I watched a show, the second season of this show called The Orville. I know that I've talked about this before.
Is that the golfing show?
No, that was Holy Moly last week. But
I gotta watch that show.
It's good. I gotta watch the rest of it myself. Anyway, The Orville. Mike, in the past, you've talked about how you like Star Trek.
Yes.
You like the
I'm a
original
fan
one,
of.
right?
I have nothing against any of them, but I think the first one is too old for me to get into. My favorite one that I can watch any time of the day is Star Trek Next Generation.
Okay. Well, excuse me. Not that it really matters here. I don't know why I asked, but anyway, this show called The Orville. I'll get the bad out of the way first. The guy Seth MacFarlane, who made Family Guy, he is the one who created this show, and the only reason that's bad is because people are initially going to think, oh, this is a comedy show. It's going to be very like surface level for the most part. But I gotta say, the first couple episodes they try to be like funny, but the show basically is just modern Star Trek after a while. Like, I would suggest you watch it. It's pretty fucking good.
I heard a lot of good things about it. Is it still running, or is it done? Did it get canceled?
No, it's still going. Like, they released their second season a couple months ago, I think, and
okay.
So it's got 2 seasons out. It's like an hour each episode, and there's like 14 episodes each season. So.
Is each episode its own thing, or is it kind of like an overarching story?
It's kind of both. So
gotcha.
Some major things will flow episode to episode, but basically you could just pick up and drop whenever you want. Like, it's
nice. That's what I liked about Star Trek, is that everything was its own.
Yeah. I mean, there are some episodes where there is a lot of overlap. Like, major events will be consistent, but basically it's like I never saw Star Trek. I would relate it to The Office, where, like, you know, if someone leaves The Office,
it's getting a third season in 2020.
Nice.
On Hulu.
But, like,
okay,
yeah, like I said, I would relate it closely to The Office, where you can watch an episode and you can enjoy it, where it basically starts and ends on its own plot each episode. But if you know, like, someone left The Office, or if someone joined The Office, or if, like, you know, if someone's pregnant or something, like, that will be consistent episode to episode. If someone has a kid or something. So
right.
It's like big things like that will be consistent, but typically you can just kind of pick up and drop wherever you want.
Yeah, I'll look into that, because, like, I've destroyed Star Trek Next Generation. I've seen every episode maybe 3 times. Thinking back, I'm like, damn, I've watched a lot of Star Trek Next Generation. I think I am a Star Trek fan.
Yeah. I would call you that, but
yeah. And after playing Diablo, I realized that, like, I'm becoming a really hardcore Diablo fan too as well now, which I'm really happy to know that about myself. In the end, it's like, yeah, I can see why I like this so much.
Hey,
but no, that sounds cool. So you've been liking it so far?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm all caught up now.
Should I skip the first 2 episodes then, or should I bog through them?
No, they're like. The first couple episodes, they always lay out, like, everyone's relationships to each other and everything. Like,
right.
So you shouldn't skip it, but I would say, like, watch the first 2, see if you're hooked, and then go from there. But, I mean, basically, the comedy part of the show is that it is a straight ripoff of Star Trek. To the point that, like, Captain's wearing a certain color shirt, the guys who die are, like, the red shirts. It's nothing that's...
Right.
Like, Family Guy is very in-your-face funny. Like, look at this, I'm pointing at this because it's funny. Do you get it now? Laugh with me. This show is very much, like, a bit more subtle humor, where...
Nice.
It's
okay.
like, you know, the guy, when all of them run out and one guy's got a red shirt, it's kind of like, oh, you're dead. You know, like, they kind of expect...
More like British humor.
Well,
I get it.
They just expect the audience to have a certain degree of, like...
knowledge.
It's like an inside joke, yeah. Like, they don't have to point and be like, that guy's gonna die, but they know that if you like these kinds of shows, you're gonna know that this typical trope is going to happen, or that this guy is going to die, or... Yeah.
It looks fun, and it looks good so far what I'm seeing. I like the set designs, the characters' designs are really well made, too.
Yeah,
it's very... I'll give it a look at it, especially if it's on... Have you been watching on Hulu?
Yeah, it's on Hulu.
I don't know if you said that. Okay, good. Sweet, then yeah. I've decided to cancel, like, my Netflix and my Amazon Prime accounts. I think I'm going to actually continue with my Hulu account, though, because we've been because that's where we found all of these 2 movies I talked about. And I really want to watch Holly Molly, and I actually have a lot of respect for Hulu. I'm not a fan how they have a subscription fee where you still get commercials, but I'm paying for the one right now for where you don't get commercials.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I absolutely just hate fucking commercials.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely gonna look into that then, because like once again, right now I'll definitely give that one a watch, and I'm gonna give Holly Molly a watch too. So
Holy moly!
Holy moly! So you've been, but this Orville, it's been holding up constantly throughout the season. It hasn't been feel like it's been dredging downwards anyway, because that's always been why I hate fucking watching TV series, is that they always go downhill, and mostly because they try to do one arc for a season, and it makes me excited to know that Orville is just multiple different stories where you deal with these, then you just follow these people deal with different situations, which is why I'm just a huge fan of Star Trek. You can jump in any episode you want in Star Trek, and it doesn't matter because every single episode is a different situation, which makes it more interesting, more compelling, and there's just more impact in the episode. While in some shows, when it's overarching one story, you're gonna have a lot of episodes where are totally pointless just to help expand, just to continue some pointless, stupid plot.
Well, each episode has a theme is probably the best way to put it. But yeah, so like
the same thing with Star Trek Next Generation.
Yeah, exactly.
It was the same thing too, which is awesome. I like that. That's something I really enjoyed in TV series, is that they have, and that's what I liked about like Adventure Time. Adventure Time had multiple different stories in it, and one epic arc story in the background. But that story was heavily in the background, where you kind of have to pay attention to it to even realize it's there, which I really enjoy most, because I'm not a fan of series that you have to watch them in consistent order to understand what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's really cool, and I appreciate the suggestions. I'll look into that one for sure.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny like how I'm getting into Hulu now, because at first I was kind of really against Hulu, but now after they're actually they have their shit together. This podcast is supported by Hulu, by the way.
Yeah.
But they're just very. We've been appreciating their how their setup is, to like their search engine, how everything's categorized. Even their movie selection is really fucking good too, even though they're supposed to be mostly for television type of movies, shows.
I don't mind. The thing that got me initially into it is all their animation, like South Park, King of the Hill, Futurama. Like those are all great shows that you can just, like you were saying, kind of pick up and drop whenever you want. It's great to have on the background.
They have One Punch Man, which is why that was the reason why I picked them up, because they were the only ones getting the new episodes of One Punch Man. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, cool. And that one, by the way, if you want to get Hulu just for that, don't. That season fucking sucks. Just stick to the first one. That's all you need. The second one's is awful. Just awful.
Yeah. But in conclusion, I'm pretty happy with the show. I think it really ramps up. Okay, it's been long enough. Let's get to our top 5.
Oh yeah, that's right. And then what was our top 5 again?
So this is a recommendation that we had. Last week we asked for what's the best recommendation that we can get, and we'll do that one for this next week. So now,
which is for our only constant listener, our beautiful friend Sam, which came up with actually a really good one. As soon as I saw the suggestion, I thought it was a great fucking idea.
Yeah,
I was pretty excited for this one.
I liked it. Sam, you can come up with our next one too. Thanks.
Yeah,
give us less work to do. No,
like yesterday, I kind of actually want him on the podcast too, because I know that he plays a lot of. I see him repetitively play some games too, and I was like, this would be a pretty good one for him to have on here. And I like to get Sam on here too as well, at least once.
Well, yeah, he'll be our next guest after guest Tyler from 2 weeks ago. But anyway, so he mentioned to us top 5 casual games, which is pretty good. We wanted to tweak it slightly because casual is such a hard thing. Does he mean like casual as in like games that you can relax to, games that you have that you just like, if you don't know what to play, you put these games on? So we kind of went with the later one, where it's our top 5 go-to games. If we're looking at our library,
I thought that's the way he said it. I thought that's what he was going for myself, to be honest. We're just trying to figure a way how to say it as in a top 5 list.
Well, yeah, exactly. I'm not saying.
To better understand.
Yeah, like basically casual is very interpretive, so I just wanted to make it a lot more, because we might do another top 5 casual.
We're explaining this for Sam so he knows that we're still using his top 5, but we're just naming it differently.
Yeah, we're making it better.
It's a game that we could. Such an asshole. So these are games that we can, when we just want to chill, relax, and just, it's something that we always go to when we just I just want to play a game. Where am I going to go to?
Exactly.
And these are the games that we went to when we wanted to just play a game.
It can be a fast game, it can be a slow game. It's just something that you're like, I'm just going to zone out for a little bit. You can put these games on and you are golden.
Yep.
Mike, who started out last time?
What was our last top 5?
I feel embarrassed to say that I can't immediately think about what it was.
I think, shit. I don't remember what it was either. That's really sad. I believe I went first, though, so I think you're going first this one.
Okay. So I'll give my top 5, top 4, top 3, and then we'll switch over to Mike. My top 5 is a game I've put 12 hours into. So it's not a lot of hours, but it is a very, very, very short game. You play it for less than 1 minute intervals, and then you play it over and over again. But it's called Super Hexagon.
Ah, I remember that one.
Yeah. Man, those sirens in the background, bud.
I'm sorry. My whole neighborhood's on fire. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Get out. Get and run. Why?
No, I gotta do the podcast. I am very sorry. Hold on. I'll be right back. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can fix it.
The captain goes down with the ship. Mike's building. He's just like burning up, and he's like, "Oh, we're doing the podcast still. Don't worry about it."
I hope that helps a bit, but I don't know if it's gonna do anything.
No,
I didn't see this to be like 20 fire hydrants. Dude, that's like I think the 8th one that left the fire station today.
Damn.
I don't know what's going on.
Like
people just burning shit.
Triple homicide or something.
Yeah, it's probably some like pyromaniac going around burning shit down.
All right, so my top 5, once again, in case you didn't hear, was Super Hexagon. So This is a game that is, I mean, I'm playing it on Steam, but it's a game that I'm sure you might be able to find on like Switch or something, maybe for like $1. Like I
wouldn't be surprised.
You should not pay more than $1 for this game. You should pay like 50 cents for this game, which I'm sure it goes on sale all the time. Super Hexagon, all it is 3 controls. There's spacebar, there's left arrow, and then there's right arrow. So it is a very fast-paced game, but your goal is to, like, if you've ever played like Race the Sun or a game where you're like you can't stop moving, like an auto runner, basically. Your only goal is to avoid obstacles, and there's a lot more that goes into it in terms of like that's a really ambiguous description because if I tried to be as specific about this game, you would be confused as all hell. But basically, just look up some gameplay. Like you are bordering a polygon. You know, sometimes it is a hexagon, sometimes it's a square, whatever. So your character or your figure runs around the outside of this polygon, and walls will come and hit the polygon, and you have to just make sure to dodge out of the way of it. And the reason that I like the game so much is because the music is really good, but it is really hard to play. If you get more than 10 seconds in a run, like that's really good, but the goal is to make it a minute, and that's like, I think I've only ever done that. I don't even know. I would say I've only ever done that like 6 times out of the 12 hours I've been playing it. It is fucking impossible. But
that game is fucking hard. I remember I saw you playing it a lot, and I picked it up myself, and I was like, this game's too fucking stressful for me. It's like I can't get into it.
I like the music. It's a chill out go-to game for me because I just really like I'm bumping my head as I'm listening to the music, and like it's like mesmerizing. It's a lot of color, it's not a lot of detail. It's just like looking at your screen. It's very artistic, and you're just like enjoying it, kind of laying back, hitting left and right. Like I said, the controls are very simple, so it hits number 5. Because if I'm looking at my list of games, I'm like, I don't know what to play. I'm just gonna find something for a bit until I can like decide what game I want to play. I'll play fucking Super Hexagon for 5 minutes.
Nice.
No, Super Hexagon is great. I would say that there's a large jump between my number 5 and my number 4. So 4, 3, 2, and 1 are all games that I love. Number 5, Super Hexagon, was kind of like, oh, I'll play this as just like something while I'm trying to figure out what else I want to play. The other games I'll put quite a bit of time investment into. My number 4 is called Oregon Trail. So don't get me wrong, it is not the Oregon Trail, the old game. It is called Oregon, as in, like, guts, like, liver and kidneys. Oregon Trail. It's a zombie game that is basically like the Oregon Trail.
I remember I've been wanting to pick up that game.
It is freaking awesome. I love it. It looks exactly like the Oregon Trail, where, the graphics are just, like, terrible pixel. The story is just kind of like bullshit, whatever. But you go hunting. Things like the goal is to drive your station wagon. That's the funniest part, by the way, is that in the Oregon Trail, the old one, you have to drive your wagon from East Coast to West Coast. In this one, it's not a wagon; it's a station wagon. Which, the subtle humor is just the best in this game.
Yeah.
But so you're driving a station wagon from, I think, like, New York City to, like, LA or something. So you go from East Coast to West Coast, and you've got you can pick up hitchhikers. People can get infected by zombies. It's a zombie game, I should mention. You go hunting, so, like, it shows, like, in typical the Oregon Trail, like, it shows, like, the woods, and then you can shoot stuff, and you can only take, like, a certain amount of food back with you. You have, like, a bullet supply, the same way that you need, like, repair and like additional supplies to keep your car or to keep your wagon maintained in the Oregon Trail. Same thing here, you need an additional tire or an additional exhaust or something like that. Sometimes, you'll lose parts. Sometimes your car will break down.
Like in the original game, you just be traveling. It's like, oh, this person just lost a leg. Have fun with that. And the same thing happens in this one too. Just some random bullshit will happen to you, and you just got to deal with it. It's like, fuck.
Yeah, and depending on how, basically it is a not a word for word copy of the Oregon Trail, but the game is like, it tries to be as similar as possible. Each time that you go, you can select fast, normal, and slow speed, and the same way that you used to be able to do in the original game. And this dictates, if you do fast, you run into less issues, but you're going to be wearing out your car faster. So you better have, supplies for your car. If you go slow, your car is going to be a lot more reliable, but you're going to run into, more zombies and shit. So It's a really, really fun game. Whenever you pick it up and play it, it takes about, I would say at least 30 minutes to play a playthrough. But it is just a fun game that whenever I'm looking at my library list, or my library of games, I see that game and I'm like, I could go for the Oregon, or the Oregon Trail right now. So that's
you can also put down some teammates too. If you got a guy that's just not doing too well, you can just put them out of their misery.
Yeah, it is a viable solution that, if you're running low on food, just kill one of your teammates or one of your crew. I have done that before. Some guy gets a broken leg and you're like, sorry buddy, I gotta put you down. And he's like, it's just a broken leg. And you're like, you're eating too much food too.
It's like, I'm sure you're pretty much a horse, so I gotta do this.
So,
oh man,
those last
so
two,
good.
So Oregon Trail, I used to play a bunch. I haven't been playing it for the last year or two, but when I first got it, I played it for a couple years, just on and off for a while, and that's why it comes onto my go-to list. But I should really reinstall that game because, you can play it anywhere. You can play it offline. The best part about these go-to games is that typically they're very accessible. They've got a mobile, I know some of the games up on my list have mobile versions and stuff that, the reason that they're go-to is because they are so accessible and so easy and so, they take so little effort to enjoy. So, I'm sure that there's a Switch version of the Oregon Trail, if not a mobile, a phone version of it, and it would be perfect for that, honestly. So,
Nice.
Yeah, so number 5, Super Hexagon, number 4, Oregon Trail, and then number 3 is an old favorite of mine. This is probably one of the first games that got me into indie games, actually, is Plants vs. Zombies.
Oldie but a goodie.
So you've played Plants vs. Zombies?
Of course I have. I think everyone's played Plants vs. Zombie, the first one.
Yeah.
Such a good fucking game.
Exactly. Yeah, it's awesome. And this game can be very slow. The game can be very intense, but at the end of the day, I mean, it is great. They've got the Zen Garden that you can do. They've got the survival waves. Like, this game was made for replayability. And just, like,
Yeah.
I would say, how long is a typical game of Plants vs. Zombies? Like, 5 minutes? Like, you can
I was gonna say 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Or so.
You can get in, get out. I mean, you can always find time to just play one
There's
quick
even
game.
like a Zen garden where you can just raise plants for free. You know, you just water them. It's very calm and simple game.
Mm-hmm.
The art style is cute. The music's good. You can easily zone on that game.
You can play the whole game with just left click. Like, it is a one button game. It's great.
Yeah, and there's no bullshit DLC. There's just like everything is unlockable in the game, and it's like progressive and all that stuff. It's great.
Well, that was
so much fun.
That was another thing I was gonna bring up is that they have Plants vs Zombies 2 on the phone. At least when I played it like 4 years ago, it was on the phone. It was pretty good back then, but from what I've heard, it's quickly become a microtransaction nightmare. And it's like nowhere near the glory of the original game. So, for anyone who hasn't played Plants vs. Zombies, look into it because it's awesome. But just be wary. If you see number 2, it's going to have a lot more features. It's going to look a lot cooler, but it is not a representation of a relaxing game because it is going to be riddled with microtransactions. The first game is very relaxing. It's very go-to. It's very much like, I just want to waste 5 minutes.
I've been enjoying that a lot playing these older games again because I never realized like how abrasive those micro transactions really are. Because after I've been playing these old games, like wow, there's just start the game and go. There's no stupid advertisements in the corners, and it's like, hey, get this new thing now. Hey, you want to look different? Get this, get that, get this. It's like no, just play the game, have fun with it.
You know what?
And I've been appreciating that a lot, and I feel bad that most people growing up now in this kind of generation are never going to really fully understand how that was back then when you just act, because it feels weird to say this because I know that everyone's been saying it, but if you actually ever go back to play an old game, it's just the game. There's no like nothing's in your face. It's just nice because after playing them, I never realized how bad they really actually are. I mean, sure, they seem so small and minor by being the corner of the screen, but it's I don't even know how to explain it. It's fucking weird.
Well, here's the thing is they want you to make spontaneous decisions to buy something. So that's why the game is never going to be relaxing. It's never going to be a go-to game if it has microtransactions because they want to, bing, notify you on your phone. Hey, 50% discount right now if you click right now. Like those games are never going. Even though they might.
In the back of the mind too, it's like, are they just trying to make this hard so I buy these packs? And it's always in your mind that when you play these games, at least for me, it's like, how is this difficulty really set up? Is it for me to be challenged or for me to be annoyed to buy this to get me through this?
Yeah.
And mostly, I think I'm in a more unique case. I'm not trying to brag or anything like that because I know people say they never noticed that. But, it's like with you reading the psychology books, you can use these and you notice them yourself. For me, I've actually taken marketing classes and realized like how things are done. And I clearly see like a lot of times like, oh, you're trying to get me to look over here. You're trying to, so I can see this to buy this. And when I play these older games, I see none of that. I just see everything I'm looking at is supposed to be pleasing. It's supposed to attract my eyes. I'm supposed to be balanced perfectly in my challenge. I have like no worries that I want to play a game like, oh, this game is trying to fucking rip me off so I can just go buy this booster thing or spend more money on this. No, I have the feeling like, no, I can do this because they want me to do it this way. There is no other way but me to play it myself. And it's just a nice, relaxing feeling to know that. And it makes all these old games, even though they're old and they look bad, I'm like, damn, these are fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, given though, I complain about this, but just buy indie games like Oregon Trail and buy Hexagon thing because they just made a game. They don't have microtransactions. It's really just AAA games. So I don't know. I'm turning to more of a ranting case right now. So
no,
I'm trying to reel myself back in.
No, you give a very valid point though. The essence of a casual or a go-to game is a game that you want to turn your brain off for a moment. I don't want to think about the game I want to play. I just want to play a game. It doesn't matter what the game is. I just want to play it and relax
Yeah.
and chill for a bit. It's like
I'm actually removing a game off my list now because of that realization too, which is it's a sad thing for me to do because I like the game a lot, but it has one of those things in it. So, but I have something to replace it, which is okay. But after realizing saying that out loud, I'm like, if I'm saying all this and I know this, that's not a relaxing game to me really as much as other ones are.
I mean, a relaxing game to me is the full package. You don't have to. It's the same way with how you're talking about Star Trek. You don't have to start somewhere. You don't have to end somewhere. It's just you start and you stop whenever you want.
And you get a full story. You get everything you want out of it. You know, there's also no stupid. You got this box. I'm like, cool, I got this box. Hey, you got this box, but you need to buy this key. I'm like, well, I'm never gonna buy this. And it's constantly it's like, hey, you got a box. You got a box. You got another box, but you need this key. You want to buy this key? It's like it's $3. It's a little key. You want to buy it. It's like Pennywise the clown's the back. You want a key, little boy? Come on, it's just a little key.
Come down into the sewer, grab this key.
It's only $3.50. You can find something good in it.
I don't
you
like
want that skirt.
I don't like your Pennywise impression. It's scary.
Come on, you might get that little skirt, little boy.
Oh my god,
skirt's worth $500.
Mike,
you remember that?
So obviously this is a podcast, so no one would know this, but Mike's got a bald head. Mike, you would be perfect for a Pennywise costume for Halloween next month, man.
I thought about that actually. After the first one, I really wanted to do a Pennywise costume for Halloween. I've been because my girlfriend, she's really good with makeup and all that stuff, and I'm like, damn, I have such more opportunities for good costumes now for Halloween. It's got me really excited for them every single time.
There's going to be a lot of Pennywise costumes out there, though, now that I think about it. But
yeah, no, it's a shame.
Anyway, so, sorry, my number 3 is Plants vs. Zombies.
Great choice.
The number, honestly, I don't know if it's, I'm sure it's changed, but number 2 was actually pretty darn fun on my phone up until it did eventually hit this point where it's like, okay, now I have to basically spend money for. Like, I've heard that a bunch of games do this. What's the one that everyone plays on their phone? It's not Bejeweled. It's not Angry Birds. What's
is that Castle Crashes or something like Castle Crashes?
What's the game that?
It's the one where like you can tag someone's fort and then like you just like do an onslaught by sending the enemies at them.
I'll look it up. I'll look it up while you're talking. Once I say it, everyone's gonna know the game because everyone's supposedly everyone's fucking played it. But Mike, what's your number 5? I'll look it up.
So my number 5, this one I got put in because I took another one out. So this one
Candy
is on my
Crush
honorable
Saga.
mentions.
That's it.
Oh yeah, my mom fucking dies into that game.
Sorry.
So she doesn't buy any jewels or anything or lies in that one.
Well, from what I heard is that it just like ramps up to the point where you basically have to buy it unless you want to play the level like 20 times each level or something.
Which makes some sense because it is a free to play game, so I'm like they have to make their money some way, but they also run ads on it too though. So
yeah,
that's how they get their money. So.
Sure.
I mean,
okay, anyway, I'm sorry to cut you off. What were you getting at?
No, it's okay. No, like I said, after talking and going my rant, I realized, well, this is not really my relaxing game as much as, like, there's one that is not like that at all that I can put in. So I took one out, and then I put in one of my honorable mentions in there. And it comes as my number 5. And I don't know if you ever played this game, though. It's called One Finger Death Punch.
No, but I remember you really had nothing but good things to say about it.
Yeah, so this game is this very simple stick figure style. Like, you're just a stick figure that's in the middle of this level plane. And enemies come at your left and at your right. And all you do is if you want to take enemies on your left, you left click. If you want to take the enemies on your right, you right click. And then the enemies come at you faster and faster and faster. And if you mess up, they get hit on you. Now, some unique enemies come in where you have to then left click, then right click. And so this keeps on happening, and then there's also like when they drop weapons, which then they like extend your range, or like one of my favorite weapons is that it's like a spike ball, and so you punch the ball and it goes flying across and it hits the enemy and it comes back at you, and then all you gotta do is either right click or left click, and then you can bounce. You can keep on going, but as soon as you miss the ball is gone though. But it's my absolute favorite weapon to get because you just ricochet off of them, and it gets faster and faster and faster the more you play.
Okay.
And I've, like you, with the hexagon ones, which is really funny, is that I have exactly 12 hours in that one, too, as well. and it's been a while since I played it. But it was one of those things. If I had nothing going on, I would just immediately just start it up and just chill. And like with Hexagon, it has a really fun soundtrack to it, and I always just loved listening to it. There's even like a cool like little levels where you just fight with like lightsabers and stuff.
Yeah,
it's so much fun. And like if anyone's ever seen like a stick figure animations, they're usually kind of like pretty violent and brutal because they're just stick figures, so you can kind of go crazy. And this one is exactly the same way too. Like you just literally destroy these people, and you just feel like the ultimate badass when doing it. And you get like these break combos when you actually start just like you leave the center and you start just pounding in on one direction. And it just when you get like a certain just like combo going, and it's so fun to watch. The visuals are great. There's lights, blood, splatters everywhere. It's really easy to get into as well. It's like it's a challenging game, but not too hard at the same time too.
No, I remember you were talking about that game. I think I've got it in my library too, but
they came out with the second one actually too. Yeah, they came out with the second one.
How's the second?
I haven't played the second one actually. It's been because I was meaning to say this, that for casual games, I've been just had a huge list of games to play that I've never needed to play some like One Finger Death Punch. I've been having like a lot of games to keep on going, like new games to try and all that stuff. But I saw that the second one came out, and I've been pretty interested to pick it up. So if I ever have some downtime, I'm definitely gonna give that one and buy it right away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think let me take a look here because it tells me if you have it. Yeah, you own this game. You own Finger Death Punch. Let's see if let's see how much the second one's going for. Because if it's pretty cheap, I'll pick it up. But honestly, I don't know how much they can really add on to this game. To be honest, I don't know what else you can do to it.
Well, I'm sure new weapons and stuff.
Yeah, it is $8. Not a bad deal. Not bad at all.
Well, I remember that you were really into this game, and it honestly, I'm surprised that it initially wasn't making your list, because if you were going to ask me what games are on Mike's list, I was going to say this is like your number 3 or something. So I'm very surprised. I'm very interested to hear the rest of your games, because I remember you were just all about this game back in the day.
Yeah, then there's reasons why it didn't make my list originally. But yeah, this game is fun. There's no DLC in either. You just pick up the game, you play it, and then you put it down anytime you want. The levels are just, I think, like 5 minutes long each. And then there's also just where you can just go as long as you want. There's like, I forget what you call that type of mode, but
Endless
it's just like an
mode or horde mode or something.
Exactly, where it just does not stop. You go as far as you can go. And it was just one of those things like, I got nothing else to do. Maybe have like this is when I had like the TV right next to my computer, and I would just have the TV going and it'd be just going nuts on it, having fun and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's my number 5, One Finger Death Punch. And I've always wanted to talk about it because I had to. I'm like, I gotta talk about this game because this is one of the most casual, relaxing games I know that it should be on the list in some way.
No, I'm glad. I'm glad it gets some recognition through you.
Yeah. My number 4 is Minecraft.
Okay. It's a good one.
Minecraft is a game that I played when it was in beta, and I played it when it was fully out, and it was a game that I just destroyed. If I just want to relax and chill, I went straight to Minecraft. It has a beautiful aesthetic, it has a relaxing soundtrack to it, yet there's a nice challenge enough to keep alive, with creatures and all that stuff, with the craveability of building stuff with resource gathering.
You can jump in and out whenever you want. I mean,
yeah, it's just so nice. Everything is friendly, good looking. And I dove even deep into all the mods that people made for this, where you can have like self-drilling equipment, just like these factory machineries and all that stuff. It was just a fun way for me just to zone out, make all this stuff, and make this awesome, complex facilities that do everything for me. And, like, you have, like, conveyor belts and all that stuff. It was just a nice, relaxing game. And I no longer play it because I've destroyed Minecraft. There is nothing left for me in this game to play. I put everything to the point of exhaustion. But it's something I've always fondly remembered, and I can understand why people still play it, and I can understand why people love it. And I can see why across all the ages too. This is a great game to get anyone, especially if you have kids or something, to get into gaming and to understand like moving mechanics, to basic just it really breaks down the basics of gaming into like where everyone can understand and learn from. But it's a fun game just to chill out to. Absolutely love it.
I agree 100%. I mean, one of the most relaxing things to me in that game is, well, I was going to say farming, but just mining. Like, even if you're not going in any specific direction or anything, even if you're just mining, you know, the 2-meter blocks that you need to move forward, making just a straight line in the ground, like, it's mesmerizing, I would probably say.
Oh, yeah.
You just get stuck
too.
on,
you
like...
get a mine shaft, too, and it's like you're always looking behind you just to see if an enemy's coming or something.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's not like a threat feeling. It's like you just slam this, like, oh yeah, just let's do a quick little ruck around, make sure no creeper sneaks up and blows my ass up, and then you just go right back at it.
Well, it's just very
get materials.
Calming. Like, I was reading about people who gamble, and there was a study where winning is good, but losing is also not. They were saying that they made losing not bad. So winning is good, but losing isn't bad. Basically, they made the concept of just rolling the slot machines so much like fun and enjoyable that you just get into this like point where you're kind of like not even thinking about it, but you're just like rolling the slot machine over and over again. And like that's kind of how Minecraft feels. Is every time you knock a block, it's like kind of rolling the slot machine. Then oh, nothing's behind it. Okay, next one. And you like roll again.
That's true.
And it's just
even the sound, like the digging sounds like. I can't even like when you mine something out, it makes a very calming sound constantly that you can listen to it like all day. It just like you constantly just go at it, and just like and when the like you said with the side and it goes it's the same thing on the block. It's like it's just that it's a nice little digging sound, and then when that pops out, it goes like boop. It's like oh that's nice.
Yeah,
and you can see what's behind it. That's so true. I think it's a great example.
The sound design. I mean, if we're ever going to mention Minecraft's sound effects and their background music, now is the time. Like, I think the way that the game presents itself, especially with music, is so relaxing and so calming. It's never... Even when a creeper's about to explode in your face, it's like very ambient, like underground or like quiet forest kind of
or just
sound.
Like walking in the grass too as well. Like the footsteps you make when you walk is so nice. It's stupid, like, great, and how they did all the sound effects. It's amazing.
Everything, yeah. I mean, one of my... I know this is really dumb, but, like, one of my favorite things to do in Minecraft is to have a fire in my base. Not because I like how the fire looks, but because you can hear the crackling when you're in, like... That's nice.
I love the animals. I always loved making a lot of animals because I like the noises they made, especially, like, chickens and stuff. I don't know why, it was just so nice and relaxing. Just walking the farms, like they're all there, just clucking around, mooing or stuff. It's like, yeah, this is nice. I like this. It's nice sounds.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's my number 4. My number 3 now is Binding of Isaac. That game, I think this is probably in Ben's higher list and all that stuff, or it better be, because this game is always one of those games I used to go back to all the time. I can even go back today to still play it.
This is your number 3?
This is my number 3.
Okay. Yeah. Binding of Isaac is my number 2, so we can talk about it together.
Okay, yeah. I knew it was going to be on your list. I got things that I have that on my list that knock it down, though, that are different from yours, but I knew this was going to be high on my list, and I knew it was going to be high on your list, too. This was, and still is, a fantastic made game.
It is.
And it's one of the best I think it's one of the best roguelike games out there. To be honest.
Everything from... I mean, I'm not going to glorify the menus too much, but it is something really special when the second that you click a game... I mean, there's basically... I don't think there's any loading time. The second that you click start on the game, you click... the spacebar, which is enter. You click the spacebar like 4 times, and then boom, you're in the game, you're ready to go. Yeah. And I don't think any loading times either. Like, it basically drops you in it right away. I
absolutely love those games. It's why I love, like, systems today with their standby systems. You immediately turn it on, and you're back in the game you are in that you were, like, yesterday. And you're just go. Have fun. Play your game. Sitting around. Oh, it's so good.
One of my favorite features in this game... Mike, I don't know if you know this. If you hold R, it restarts your run. If you hold it for like 3 seconds. And I'm glad that you know this, because this is something that shows how casual this game is. If you start and you check the first few round or levels and you're like, okay, this doesn't look like it's going to be a good run, you just hold R, restart, boom, right away you're back in another game. Like, that shows how replayable, how casual this game is.
Well, it knew exactly what it was, too. It's a roguelike game, and roguelike games are not fair in any bit of the way, and you need every advantage you need the game to give you to be successful in it. And I think that Binding of Isaac knew this. It's like, hey, there's going to be times where the game is just not fairable in any bit of the way, and you just need to do a restart. So here's a clean start right away.
Can I ask?
Which is great.
Do you know how many hours you put into the game? Because I was looking at it, like, if you need a second to check it out, feel free to.
Yeah.
But I was looking at the original Binding of Isaac, and then combined with the Binding of Isaac Rebirth, basically they remade the game with a better engine. With those two games put together, I've put about like 340 hours into the game.
I have 200 hours in that game.
Yeah, but I mean, still quite a huge amount. It's
that's fucking nuts. I think it's my highest game ever on here.
If my combined hours were, because once again they're two separate games. If those games were combined, it would be my most played on my Steam list as well.
Yeah, let's see if I can find that. Wow, I've been putting 20 hours. Oh no, that's 2 hours. It's like, fuck, how did I put 20 hours in that one game? Never mind. But no, this game is just. Yep, even by itself, it's still my top.
Yeah.
It is still my top, even just by the first one. And then the next one is in in fourth place. That is hilarious on how many hours I put in that game. Motherfucker.
That's great.
Oh, I love it. It's so good.
Yeah. And it's insane to see how much that game has flourished. I think I remember the original game being $15. And then when they re-released this game, Rebirth, I think it was like $30 or maybe $20 or something. And then they've added some major DLCs onto this game. And it's never, from what I can tell, it's never been in your face. It's never anything like that. It's just, if you have it, that's great. If you don't, I don't think that, at least when I was playing it, you'll never see it advertised in-game. And, I mean, now the game is on the Nintendo Switch, like full package, full everything included, for $40. Like, that, it's insane to see how massive this casual game, this go-to game, has become. But no, it is so much fun. The controls are really simple, easy to pick up, impossible to master kind of gameplay. Just a great time.
Yeah. The music is always good. The story in it is funny. All the abilities are cool and unique, and how they combine with each other is like one of my favorite things. Like, how are these gonna be with these certain combinations, and just always, like you said, with the whole slot machine. You know, it's like, what's behind this door? Is this gonna be a good item? Am I gonna get screwed over? You know, it's like, shit, I got a bad item, but I'm far into it. Let's see if I can make it. Let's see if I can keep on going. Or this one item just totally fucks up my whole entire combination, and I'm just stuck with this.
Can we backtrack?
Fuck it, let's go.
Can we backtrack to talking about the story a little bit? Because
yeah,
I would like to contrast Binding of Isaac to Celeste. I didn't want to bring up Binding of Isaac earlier because it's on my list, but that is a way to tell a story. Celeste was always breaking up the story and having this huge amount of dialogue. Binding of Isaac, first off, you can skip the story.
Picture book.
Whenever you want, you can skip the story. Yeah, the other thing about Binding of Isaac is that it was all in pictures, or it was also through the game. You could tell
no dialogue, no pictures, no talking, no dialogue, no text, no nothing.
Well, there's like the intro is like 30 seconds of talking about like, oh, how his mother watched religious TV or something. But other than that, you're right. There's like basically nothing else there. The monsters that you face explain to you the story. The items that you pick up explain to you the story. The scenery and the dungeons and everything explain the story. Like, you don't need to have these 5-minute breaks that break up the story. The reason I'm not going to be playing Celeste again is there are collectibles. There's a secret area that, you know, if you collect the 5 gems, you can do whatever. Like,
when it comes to any visual media, it should always be show me, don't tell me.
Yeah, show, don't tell. Exactly.
It's like a book is a whole different story, but when it comes to visual media, you should always be showing instead of telling the viewer about what your story is about.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to like to deal into dialogue depth to explain it. So you gotta do that. It's like, what are you doing? Just make a book.
No, I agree 100%. Binding of Isaac has one of the more interesting and delicate stories too. I mean, we're talking about religion. Can you think of a more delicate story to talk about basically criticizing religion? And yet the author of the game, the developer, has said he has gotten fan letters from people who are religious, people who aren't religious, about how much they love the game, how there is kind of this like the story, the pressure of I did grow up in a very religious family, or my family's atheist. Like, both of them can come to terms and understand, like, this you're saying so much more than one way is the correct way and one thing isn't the correct way. Like, I don't know how to properly describe it. There's no way I'm going to be able to properly articulate it, but it is a beautifully written story.
Like, yeah, because even though like he chooses Christianity, you can, as the mother who's crazy, is religiously crazy, and it's like Christianity. Even though it's about Christianity, you can put any type of other thing to be that could be that obsession, and any other type of religion, any type of other kind of anything like alcoholism. You can put gambling in there. You can put anything in there. That was the one that was picked, but I think that's why everyone can relate to it, because you can easily switch that out to anything else and still be the exact same type of story with the same exact message. Well, and that's why everyone's so understanding of it, is because of that.
I don't think
not really.
It's not specifically saying that religion is right or wrong. It's saying that regardless of the position that you're in, there is a lot of pressure that comes from religion. The mother is religious, and she is this crazy religious figure, but at the same time, it's less about her religious fanaticism and more just growing up with the pressure of kind of like, what do I believe in is probably what it comes down to.
I always feel like it's more about just living with someone who's so abrasive like that, or that cruel, or all that's in that situation.
Well, yeah, growing up in abusive families as well. That is another theme there. So
that's always what I felt was like, and it's just trying to escape from that or to deal with that, and then like the hassles.
The game does a really good job telling a story for basically having like 3 sentences of storytelling in it.
Yeah, and great music, and once again, when it comes to music, awesome music. The style is fun and interesting and very creepy too. Something definitely not kid friendly at all. I would not. I would be teenage and up to play this game.
Well, it's funny because even though, like, there is a lot of poop in the game, there is a lot of like pee, there's a lot of blood, there's like a lot of the monsters are naked. Even though it has all of these themes of like things that I mean, people would almost claim it also has a lot of like sacrilegious elements as well. It's also very cute. Like, that's a weird way to say it, but the game has a lot of cute ways of making these like really grotesque and unspeakable things seem like, dare I say, adorable sometimes.
Yeah, it's really funny too. It's like, it's so weird, isn't it, how he does that, and it's freaking hysterical and awesome.
Well, like, your weapon are your tears. You cry, and whenever you cry, like, a tear bullet comes out of your eyes. And, like, that goes to show, like, he's afraid and he's crying from these monsters, but, like, oh, like, you feel bad for him, but it's like, oh, God.
I like it that, like, the upgrades that make him cry more, or, like, things are physically hurting him. Like, I remember there's a coat hanger in his fucking head, jammed in his head, and so that makes you cry, so that makes it so you can shoot faster and all that stuff. It's really funny.
Yeah, and then there's like, one where
there's so many good upgrades and stuff that makes sense, because, like, oh, you're crying faster because, like, you're fucking have something impaled into you. Or something else.
Yeah, there's one where it's toothpicks that hold your eyelids open, and it turns it into blood tears, and it's like, that's an upgrade. And once again, it's like, oh, gross, but it's like, it's still kind of a cute picture of this guy. Like,
it's so funny.
Oh,
man.
Like, one of the main weapons you can get, or one of the main items, is Guppy's head. So, like, basically your cat's dead, rotting head, and what you do is you hold it up, like, like Legend of Zelda, da-da-da-da, and so, like, when you hold it up, it, like, does an area of effect damage, basically, But like once again, it's not like, oh gross, he's holding a dead cat's head. Like this is for the 300 hours I've played in the game, this is probably the first time I've even come to that realization that that's just a dead rotting cat's head. Like they do such a good job making it kid friendly. Don't let your kids play. I'm saying, well, I should say teenage friendly. That it takes these really like adult and mature situations and like makes it more
funny,
digestible.
Yeah. And like obviously it sounds like the bad thing, but I think they do a fantastic job of it. That's a good number 2 though, still, and it's one of my number 3. It's so fun. It's an amazingly fun game, and it's fun to learn like all the enemies, how to deal with them, and you get better as more you play because you figure like the mechanics of everything and all that stuff, and then what you should do, like what you should gamble on, what you shouldn't gamble on. There's so much depth in this game. It's great.
Yeah. So that was my number 2 along with Mike's number 3. So Mike, we'll go to your number 2 then.
My number 2 is the Halo series.
Okay.
I cannot explain how much I love Halo, and I want them to bring Halo to the PC, which I believe they're going to be doing because Microsoft is doing their Xbox Live Pass thing.
Master Chief Collection.
The only reason why I don't play Halo anymore is because I don't have an Xbox. That's the only reason why. Halo is one of my top go-to games. And the reason why it's number 1 is because I can't have access to it at all. But man, if I want to ever just play a game and just chill out, I'll just throw in a game of Halo and start playing the campaign, killing some good old Covenant aliens. Just going to town, protecting, the Earth colonies from these fucking aliens, just having a blast, just being a total badass. And if I wanted a little bit of extra challenge, I'd go to fucking online play. I can play online play all the damn time. Even if I get my shit kicked in, I could constantly play online all the damn time. Halo is just every single one of them. I've always was excited for Halo to come out because cool, just another campaign I can pick up and play. I can go back to Halo 1 and play Halo 1 campaign again and still have a fucking blast.
This is a really interesting one on your list because I don't have any AAA games on my list. This is the first, we're down to number 2s. This is the first, unless your number 1 is also a AAA, this is the only AAA game that has been on either of our lists so far. That's amazing.
It's Halo. When you play a Halo game, you're just in a fun round. You're just in a fun game. That's what it is. Halo is fun. The online's even fun too. Sure, you maybe get waffle stuck once in a while, but you don't really care. You have a blast. The ragdoll physics is great, so when you get exploded or you get stuck, or when you stick another person with a plasma grenade, that is just a fucking great feeling ever. Especially when you hear that feeling like, you just know you got stuck, or you stuck someone, and it's either, fuck yeah, or it's like, oh fuck, and you just fucking explode. One of my favorite things is also like, they have a gun called the Needler. It's an alien weapon. Yeah. And it's a gun that's a handheld thing with a bunch of purple spikes out of it. And that's a clip. And you shoot these purple needles. They're also slightly homing. And as you're shooting it, it goes... And you see all these crystals slowly go into the gun and out at the front. And then if you give just the right amount of crystal in someone, you hear this... And then they just fucking explode too as well. And it's fucking fantastic. It's just great. And it's even great too when you just have that in the single campaign when you're dealing with a fucking an elite is a certain character that is one of the more powerful Covenant aliens. You just get them the right amount and they realize it, they just stop and scream, and then because they know they're fucking dead and they just explode. Oh, dude, there's just so much fun in this game, and it has multiplayer in the campaign, which makes it even more fun, especially when you're driving around in a Warthog, which is basically a Jeep. And with a Gatling gun in the back, and you're just gunning down enemies, and it's just a complete slaughter fest. It's so good. Fun game. I can pick up that game any time of the day and play it, and just have fun. I know that for a fact, that if you stuck me in front of an Xbox and just gave me a Halo, even the first one, I'd be happy camper. Like, yeah, give me that. So I'm praying that they get the damn thing on the PC. And I want them to keep on putting the new ones on the PC too.
Well, I'm pretty sure the Master Chief...
bank.
I think the Master Chief Collection's coming to PC. Let me check here.
I think so too, but I'm not 100% sure. But they just got to do that.
Halo Master Chief Collection on Steam. It is coming out. It says coming soon. But yeah, so it's on its way. So that is what, Halo
Ooh.
1 through 4.
I cannot wait for that.
And
I am gonna be pumped.
So let's see. Hey, Halo 1 through 4, Halo Reach, Halo 3 ODST campaign. So, and then also
Halo ODST was fun too, and that's when you don't play as a Spartan. You just play as a regular soldier, drop soldier.
And then this is also the one. I mean, this is coming from someone who hasn't played like more than an hour of Halo, but I think that the Master Chief Collection also has that where you can like click a button and it'll go from old school graphics to modern graphics.
It's such. I had the remastered Halo 1 actually. I bought the remastered Halo 1. That's what they had in that one too. And you just hit a button, and instantly switches back to the old graphics. It's the coolest fucking thing ever to have in a remastered game.
Yeah.
You don't pause it; it just immediately switches back and forth. It's so fucking cool. And I think that's what every remastered thing should have in it. After experiencing that, I think every remaster should have that just to show the progress of what they did in the game. And I feel like if they don't, they're just trying to hide the fact they didn't really change much at all. They just repackaged it and sold it. And I'm just like, damn, Halo, number 2, always a game I could play. It'd be my number 1 if I could still play on the PC, though. Guarantee you that. Because fuck, that's a good fucking series. Especially for the multiplayer. So good. Good times in college, too, playing that one. But yeah, that's my number 2. Ben, what's your number 1?
So, you brought it up already, but it is Minecraft. Easily Minecraft.
Wow. I was wondering if that's going to be on your list. Dude, nice.
Yep.
Good choice.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If I'm looking for a game that I just want to waste some time in, Minecraft. Like, it's so easy. I would say that the one thing that this game doesn't have is that it's got a bit more of a loading time than the rest of the games I've added on this list. But other than that, I mean, you can just do whatever the heck you want in it. Farming is one of my favorite things to do. Like I said, just like doing nothing, mining is one of the best things to do. Just, always hitting that next block, looking for something to come up. The best thing about go-to or casual games is that, like, I could be watching a TV show while I'm playing this game, and, like, that goes to show, I'm just looking to waste time, I'm not looking to, like, settle into something or focus too much. You just want to forget about
everything else. You just want to focus on one thing and just relax. It's like meditating, Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good example. It's like calming, Even games as fast as my number 5, Super Hexagon, like, they are... It is a form of meditation, Either you're focusing in or you're kind of like releasing a little bit. But after you're done playing it, you're just like, whew, you kind of have that nice sigh of relief, basically, of like, I feel better. And Minecraft fits that description in any which way. If you're mining, if you're exploring, if you're farming, if you're building, your dream house or whatever. Like, the great thing about Minecraft is, I know I've said this before, but it can be whatever you want it to be. And a game that you can literally, whenever you want, escape, save and quit, come back to it. You're in the exact same spot. You've got the exact same items. Like, that is the perfect description.
And then if someone hopped into your world and then left forever and then came back in that same world, they would have the exact same stuff they had in that world that they mined too as well, which is fucking amazing. Like programming.
For how big this game has gotten too, this depend if you're playing the Windows version or if you're playing the Java version, your mortgage may vary basically. But if you're playing the Windows version, you're gonna have like microtransactions, like scale or like them trying to sell you skins and realms and all this stuff. If you're playing the Windows version though, if you're playing the Java version, then that's the one where it's like there's no BS, no nothing like that. The game runs a little bit worse than the Windows version, but honestly, the Java version is the way to go. Like, it's just clean, simple, fun. You can add the mods, you can make the game whatever you want it to be, and I mean, it is a game that you can jump in, you can harvest your crops and jump out if you just want to play for like 2 seconds and do this one thing. If you want to spend 8 hours into this game and explore a cave, you can do that. Like, the other things about the rest of my list, Super Hexagon, Oregon Trail, Plants vs. Zombies, Binding of Isaac, these are all games that in general they just have a short amount of gameplay to them that you replay over and over and over again. Minecraft can be that, where if you are just, harvesting your crops, you can do that. Or it can be these long, extravagant games of, like, mining and checking out a tunnel, or, like, going to the Ender Dragon. It can be whatever the hell you want it to be. It has both, it encompasses both the greatness of being a short game and the, focus and the drive that having a longer game has. And, yeah, I feel like, how many episodes can I end a top 5 with Minecraft? And I know I've said before that Minecraft is one of my 10 out of 10 games in the world, and
deserves, like, how much money that game made. It deserves that, every single penny. It deserves every single amount that game has gotten towards it.
Yeah. I think from this list, I think I'm going to reinstall Oregon Trail and Plants vs. Zombies. As much as I love Binding of Isaac, and as much as I love Binding of Isaac, I think I've put enough time into that, basically.
Yeah, right. It has enough of my time already, too.
I've already got Minecraft and Super Hexagon installed, but looking back on this list, I'm actually pretty excited mostly to replay Oregon Trail. I think that I've put 11 hours into that game, which is easily the lowest amount I put in comparison to all the other games on this list. But, I mean, for the months that I played it, like, those 11 hours, they lasted me a long freaking time. I played this game on and off for, like, a year and a half, basically. So even though it seems like a short amount of hours, it was, like, spread out. It perfectly matched the go-to ideal that I'm painting here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's my list. So I'll run back through that one more time. My number 5, Super Hexagon. My number 4,
nice.
Oregon Trail. It's a great modern version to an old school classic, and it keeps everything old school about the old school version. Old school graphics, old school gameplay. Even the writing is purposefully shitty, but there are some inside jokes into it. It's great. Oregon Trail, check it out. It's like $5, probably less. Number 3 is Plants vs. Zombies, the original one. Don't get the number 2. I've heard that it's kind of riddled in microtransactions, but the first one is really easy to get into, and the story and everything, it just doesn't matter. It's just play, go, it's all a lot of, like, basically, it's almost an idle game where, like, the things do the shooting for you, but it is still strategic. It still manages to be strategic. Number 2, Binding of Isaac. Binding of Isaac Rebirth is the better optimized version, and there's just so much replayability in it, and it is easy to just start and stop whenever you want. There's, like, no loading times, which is probably the best part about it, considering how much content is in this game. And then number 1, Minecraft, simply because the game just has so much. You can jump into a friend's server, you can chat with them, you can harvest your crops, you can go mining, whatever. I've said it a million times already. Minecraft, number 1. Mike, what is your number 1?
Motherfucking Diablo. Dude, I do not know what's happened to me, but after playing this first Diablo game, and it's, like, I was talking about this, like, in the beginning of the podcast, but I've just am full appreciation of how good Diablo series is. And as soon as I started playing Diablo 1, it immediately felt like I was playing Diablo 3. And it's a solid fucking game. By the way, when I say Diablo, I mean Diablo 1 and 3. And I guarantee you,
so, like,
fucking 2 is going to be there. Yeah, the series. 2 is going to be fucking there, too, after I beat the first one.
Dude, 2 is so good. I'm so happy that you haven't experienced the entirety of 2 yet, because it is...
I'm so pumped to play 2. You have no idea how excited I am, Ben, to play number 2. Dude, I'm not trying to overhype myself.
But I might even reinstall to play with you. I haven't touched it in years, but I might.
I am just blown away on how much I fucking love Diablo. It is crazy. Especially, it's like, I don't know what it is. I can zone out and play fucking Diablo 24/7. It was a point where it was like, last night, I was like, my girlfriend was going to bed, and I was like, I'm going to be playing more games. Like, we're going to be playing. I'm like, Diablo. And I'm just like, do I need to beat Resident Evil 2? I'm like, yeah, but Diablo. I was like, she was even Ryan's like, yeah, don't you have to beat that still? I was like, yeah, but Diablo.
That's awesome,
like,
man.
I sat down to start it up, and I started up. I'm like, it's gonna be here tomorrow. I'm gonna, because, like, it was already really late, but it was just like the feeling that, like, I didn't have to play. I'm like, I'm going to start up and just play it, you know? I don't need to worry about it. In like Diablo 1, what I love about Diablo 1 is it saves it wherever you are, exactly where you are. You know, the problem with Diablo 3, you know, you go back to whatever you're at, you know, all that stuff. But you also move a hell. But the thing is, though, it's no big fucking deal because you move so much faster in fucking Diablo 3. So there's no, like, disconcerting at all. But in Diablo 1, it saves exactly where you're standing. It's in like the enemies don't respawn back in. Everything's where it was supposed to be. It's just like pick up and go. It's awesome. And I just don't know. It's one of those games I can play fucking for hours. I was playing Diablo yesterday fucking for I think 2 hours, something like that, maybe even more. I don't know. I'm surprised it's only 5 hours I played Diablo. And I'm like, it feels like I've been playing it forever, and I just don't care. I want to play some more of it. It's great. I fucking love it. And, like, I've ranted about Diablo 3 and how fun that is. And, yeah, like, it had its rough beginning, but I can see where it came from now. And I'm like, this is what people are talking about. This is why I understand more, like, why people love Diablo. Especially, I can see even more now why people hated Diablo 3 when it first came out. I actually understand that now. Just from playing the first one. I was like, damn, the first one was even better than what Diablo 3 was when it first came out.
Dude, I'm so excited to hear you when you first start playing Diablo 2. I'm not going to say the game is immediately, like, better than everything else. Like, same way with Diablo 3, you have to invest a little bit of time and make a good character before the game, like, really makes itself apparent to how awesome it is. But, goddamn, like...
Diablo 1 was like that too as well. When I first started, I'm like, alright, this is pretty slow pace, and I wasn't fully understanding like the whole mechanics of it. But after I figure out, alright, it's just the town and everything is in the dungeons. I'm like, cool, I have it now. So I found out how to easily transfer the town fast enough so there's no real down period. Because originally I was like, alright, this is fucking trudging the town, alright, no, go back in. No, now I came out with how you're supposed to do the system, and I'm like, this is fucking great. It's like every single time that I'm full of loot, I'm like, all right, back to the town, do this, get the town portal, and back right down there. Because first, you gotta fix your stuff, sell your stuff, get your potions, then talk to the witch lady, because you have to sell your magical items to her only, and then you can buy the scroll for her. So every trip is actually useful now. I'm like, oh, so this is why they had it set up this way. Because usually you talk to the witch lady last to sell all your magical gear, because you can't sell magical gear to the blacksmith. So you walk over to the witch lady, and then luckily they even set up a pathway faster from the witch lady to the portal where you used to when you portal back into town. And it's really funny to realize when I realized, I'm like, wow, this is actually pretty well put together. Actually, this is really cleverly designed. Because like I can understand like, okay, I'm actually feel like I'm in a town, even though it's annoying that I have to go a little bit further to talk to people. Because like in Diablo 3, everyone's just in this like gypsy caravan thing, so it's like why everyone's right next to each other.
Yeah, there's like a town square.
Yeah, it's a town square. Like I always felt like they're like a movable like gypsy people, you know, they just set up shop wherever they go.
Yeah, which
is like a feeling that, you know, that's what their shops look like too as well. And then in Diablo 1, they're actually, you know, the blacksmith, the tavern, the you know, everyone has a house, so it makes sense that they're spread out, and it's a nice aesthetic actually. And, like, I guess I was making fun of it, but still, it's like, once again, the time period the game came from and the limitations. And, but it's just fun. It's great to see, like, I'm, like, always excited to see the next new enemies and to fight them and all that stuff. It's just cool to see how many times I killed them and, like, to figure out, like, ways to deal with situations and all that stuff. It's just good. And it's, like, the third one, too. And just, like, getting a new item is, like, always cool to see. Especially if it's not identified yet. I'm like, oh, fuck, I wonder what this is going to be. And it's just like, and the game doesn't take itself seriously. Because I remember the first unidentified weapon I got in Diablo 1. I'm like, oh, this is going to be fucking good. This is going to be great. And I had like a scroll, so I had to go back to town. And I immediately did it. And it was like, minus 10 on hits. Minus 10% to actually hit person. And then like, something that was also negative. I'm like, what the fuck is this bullshit? and then immediately read the top of the title. It's like, it said like the clumsy falcon sword. I'm like, well, okay, that makes sense now. That's pretty fucking funny. And I immediately just laughed. And the humor in the game is great too. I don't think I brought this up though. Like in Diablo 1, I ran into a random wizard. I talked to him. He's like, fuck off. He's like, I'm like, what? And he drops an item and goes like, fuck off. Here, take this and just leave me be. And he's in this random room with some books on pedestals and a bookshelf. So I'm like, fuck you. So I started knocking his books off the pedestals and picking them up. And I finally went to the, it's the funniest shit ever. I'm like, yeah, fuck you. I'm taking this shit. You know, this is loot. And so I finally go to the bookshelf and like take the book. It's like, all right, motherfucker, is that how we're going to play? And he fucking tries to kill me. And so he's shooting fucking fireballs at me, teleporting around everywhere. I was like, fuck you. I got like 50% against fire damage. You're fucked. So I spent like a solid like 3 minutes like chasing this fucker, beating him as he's hitting me with like fireballs. And then after I finally kill him, my guy goes like, how's your concentration now, bitch? I was like, that's pretty fucking funny that my character says that. It's great. And it's just like the same thing like in Diablo 3, you know, like even when I'm playing by myself or with you, it's like we come across an enemy and they have a dialogue and we just kill them in like a quarter of their dialogue and they're just immediately dead. It's just that stuff. I don't know. I can go on fucking forever. And it's funny how I became not a fan of Diablo to someone who fucking loves Diablo. Because when I played Diablo 2, I was like, I don't understand this. And I played Diablo 3 when I started. I'm like, wow. I'm like, I really don't understand Diablo players at all. But then when they fixed Diablo 3, I'm like, wow, this is fun. I'm like, I guess it's maybe the new version of Diablo. But then when I played Diablo 1, it's like, oh, this is why they fucking love this game. I get it now.
You've been converted.
I have been converted, and it's one of my favorite games to shell out to, because like you can zone out in this game all the time and have fun. There's really no stress in it. It's straightforward, and it's great when you come across puzzles and all that stuff that are not really that challenging at all. But I don't know, dude. It's good.
Granted,
I'm so excited.
Diablo isn't specifically a zombie game, but it was one of the first games that they just like throw a ton of shit at you and you just mow them over. Like, basically you feel like a god in that game because there'll be like 50 enemies on the screen and you're just like done, dead, everything's gone.
In Diablo 1, you have to be careful because like you can still take a lot of damage. So what you kind of do is you kind of like kite them into doorways so you can fight them one at a time. And it's kind of fun, like the hardest level I had in Diablo 1 was, I think, on the 3rd level because our big open areas, and in those open areas, was just filled with fucking archers. It was like, son of a bitch. It's like, what is this chaos? And you be shot at with like 50 arrows at you. And so you just have to whittle them down and just like run away and then come back and whittle them more down. It was the funniest shit ever to run in these situations. So you just run in a room and you just see 50 arrows shoot at you. It's like, oh, fuck me. It's like, all right, let's kite these motherfuckers. Let's like get around these corners and stuff. So like you're less of a badass in Diablo 1, but you still become one though pretty quickly. And it's just and like the loot system in Diablo 1 is just as fantastic as Diablo 3. When you just find a weapon that's freaking great, it's just awesome. It's so good. I know for a fact that we've been playing Diablo 1 just to play, not to even just to beat it, to play Diablo 2. I just want to play Diablo 1 because I'm excited to see the end of it and to just play it. It's nothing for me to get to Diablo 2. It's just to being able to play Diablo 1. And honestly, if there was no Diablo 2 or Diablo 3, I would replay Diablo 1 over again in a heartbeat with no issue as soon as I beated it. Because I can see why someone would want to if that was the only game out.
That's good to hear, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I was very taken back by it. I came in with an open mind thinking like, all right, this game is old and I think this game could be bad. And when I first started off, I'm like, wow, this is pretty slow paced and a little archaic. But as soon as I finally understood the whole mechanic of it, I was like, this is amazing. This is fun. This is just right. And that came into play when I came to the point of realization, like, how good it was we had it back then in older games where we didn't have to worry about anything, but you just bought the game and you got it. It was so good. But yeah, that's my number one is Diablo series. And to go back to my list, like Ben did, number 5 is One Finger Death Punch. A very good, simple, one of the simplest games ever. You left click and you right click and that's it. But man, they throw a lot of things into it, which is very impressive in itself. Number 4, Minecraft. There's not really much to say about it. We said everything we could and should say about it. Number 3, Binding of Isaac. Can never go wrong with that game. I mean, the hours I've spent into it just shows how good it is. Number 2, Halo. It would be number 1, but I can no longer play this game because I don't have an Xbox. So, and it's gotten replaced by, of course, number 1, Diablo. And then that's my top 5.
Do you have any honorable mentions?
Yes, actually, Void Bastard, a game that we talked about this season. That game is pretty much like Binding of Isaac style. It's a lot of fun. It's great. The style is cute. The humor is also cute as well, with a kind of a little bit of a serious tone a bit. It's just overall fun. It's super easy to pick up and put down and anytime you want to. And I think that if anyone's looking for something to replace Binding of Isaac with, or to find another roguelike game, I highly suggest please pick up Void Bastard. You would enjoy it a lot. It's not the perfect game. There's some unfair balance to it, but once again, I mean, you're getting into that when you're buying a roguelike game. There's nothing really balanced about a rogue game. I think everyone should give it a try.
Yeah, I'd like to give it a shot eventually. It sounds really like a good time.
Yeah, at 23, it's right now it's like $30. I definitely would say wait for maybe like 50% off, like when it's 15 or so. But it's definitely worth a play. If you really are interested in getting another rogue game that you can easily pick up and put down, Void Bastard is the way to go. And there is an ending to it, and it's achievable, which is nice. And the replay is definitely there. So yeah, it's just a fun game. Give it a go.
All right.
You got any honorable mentions yourself? I guess you should mention the game that I did take out, which was Warframe. And there's not much else I can say about Warframe because I've explained this so many times on why I like the game a lot. I kind of took it off just because it is a free-to-play and there's that microtransactions. But I have to give it credit where credit's due. I never actually felt like I was pennied and dimed for to buy more stuff. I wanted to give money to it, and I've literally put in $60 into the game, but that's the $60 I wanted to put into it. I wanted to give it $60. I think it's a $60 game, completely.
Sure.
And it is actually in my second place of amount of times I put into it. I have 105 hours put into it, and that's been every other game besides Binding of Isaac. So, I mean, that just shows you how good a game it is. I've only put $60 into it. Yeah, so that's another good game if you're looking for a fill. You got your fill of Diablo. You got your fill of like any type of loot game. Definitely pick up Warframe. It's free, and it's fun. A big steep learning curve, though. That's for sure. Excuse me. Sorry, what about your honorable mentions?
I've got 4 that I'll just
nice.
go over quickly. The first one I was going to say is Slay the Spire, but this is a game that I haven't had for more than a month, so I felt like I shouldn't put it on here, because even though I have been playing it on and off, more than any of the other games on this list, I've been playing that on and off for the last month, but it's just been a month.
I felt the same way with Void Bastards, too.
Yeah, like, it hasn't really stood the test of time like the other games have. Next one I was going to mention is an old classic, Grand Theft Auto. These are just good games, before online games were... well, sorry, not online games. But I would say, like, San Andreas is probably the best one that I've played. When I got Grand Theft Auto 5, the most recent one, my PlayStation died on me, like, a month later, so I didn't really get a chance to play that one a lot. But San Andreas has always been my go-to in terms of, like, they had some ridiculously fun cheat codes in it, and
Vice City was my jam.
Yeah, Vice City also. I mean, a lot of the PlayStation ones were great. Like, the cheat codes in those old games probably made it, because you could always find a new way to, like, manipulate the...
cheat codes were a thing? Man. Game Shark. Oof. Those are the days.
Yeah.
Those were the days.
The next one, number 3, I was going to say 7 Days to Die, but you just can't enjoy the game the way that I enjoyed it right now. So, because it's changed, there's no point in mentioning it.
I also, I didn't put on there because I needed you for me to have the full fun of it. If I didn't have you play with it, I was just like, I can't really do this by myself. It's not fun by myself at all. If I can't just pick it up and play it.
It falls under the same thing as Minecraft in the sense that, like, you can basically do a bunch of stuff, but Minecraft you can do more. And I do
And
feel
better.
like tense when I play 7 Days to Die because there is that threat of zombies always there. There's no
Yeah.
downtime where you're completely free. As
Except
Minecraft
at
there is.
night. Except at night, and that nighttime is a little bit too long. It's kind of brutal. If you're playing by yourself, it's the most brutal thing ever to have nighttime
Yeah.
situation.
And the other thing too, I mean, we praised Minecraft on sound design earlier. 7 Days to Die does not have that. Like, it doesn't feel ambient.
No.
Ambient. It doesn't feel, even though there's a lot of similar characteristics, or at least there used to be a lot of similar characteristics, the game just doesn't feel as calming as Minecraft. So it didn't make the list.
No.
And then the last one is Stardew Valley, which is a farming game, basically like Harvest Moon
I think that's getting like co-op play. I might pick that up for me and my girlfriend to play. I don't know.
it's fun, but there is a bit of a story there in terms of like day in, day out, and it's not something that I feel like I can not play for a month and then come back to. The same way that I could do with any of these games. If I downloaded Oregon Trail right now, I would not like log into the game and be like, oh, what the hell's going on? I totally forgot what I'm doing. Like,
Yeah.
Binding of Isaac, Plants vs. Zombies, Super Hexagon, I can all understand. I can just jump into those games right now and I wouldn't have an issue. Stardew Valley,
Yeah.
I would be like, what, how, let's see, how's my wheat? How are my chickens? What do I need more of? What silo do I need to build? Like, there's a lot more urgency with Stardew Valley. And I guess I don't really appreciate that as much. It runs on a day-night cycle, and each day matters, so you always kind of feel rushed, and it's not as calming because of that. Mike, I was going to kind of start wrapping up here. I was going to say headline news stories. Last of Us Part 2 has a leaked release date of February 28th, 2020.
Ooh.
So whether
Exciting.
that is a leaked release date. So whether or not that is confirmed later on to be true or not, we'll see. But so expect that in like 5 months. So that's pretty exciting. Games coming out. I think I've told you about Cube World before, right, Mike?
A long time ago, I believe. A long time ago.
It's basically Minecraft, but what they're doing right now is that the guy is re-releasing the game, but that's coming out September 30th, so next week. But I'm just going to say, be careful, because this guy released the game, then he did like radio silence on the game for like years at a time. Like, no one heard from him for a long time. There were no updates. The game was basically broken. There was a huge bunch of issues. And then he just took the game off and turned the servers off, and you can't play it anymore. And now it's coming out back on Steam, and it looks really good. And it seems like there's a lot of updates, but just it's kind of like it's kind of like
sketchy as fuck.
Yeah, it's the ex-boyfriend coming back and being like, "I'll never hurt you again, baby. I'm sorry." It's like, I don't know if I'm ready to like take that back in. You burned me so hard last time, Cube World.
Yeah. That makes a lot, I'd be very cautious about that one for sure.
So, I'm not going to immediately pick it up, but this is a game that I am really excited about. It's basically Minecraft, but with a focus on combat, which sounds awesome. Next thing is next week's top 5. So, Mike and I were talking about this earlier, and we decided that the next week's top 5 should be top 5 games that are the most binge-worthy. So top 5 most binge-worthy games. Games that you play, and it's just like, oh fuck, it's 8 hours. It's been 8 hours since I turned this game on. I can already tell you what my number 1 is going to be, but...
Yeah, I think everyone already knows what mine's going to be, too.
It's, like... Yeah, so basically, whether the game... I mean, there can be games that are more fun. There can be games that are less fun. There can be games that have a better story or have better combat or something.
Anything that you just lose time to.
But yeah, basically, exactly. Basically, you turn the game on and you're like, "Oh, it's 2 a.m. What happened?"
I hate myself.
Basically,
all I know it's morning and I hate myself.
I've got to work in 3 hours. May as well just play through it.
Fuck.
All right.
I remember those days.
This week, I'll be playing Final Fantasy VIII Remastered. That game is going along pretty well. I hope I'll have some really good stories to tell you guys in the future. I'm also going to I'd like to try to watch the movies that Mike recommended. They both sound great. Drop Dead
They're
Gorgeous.
all short too. You don't have to give your full attention to it too, so it's something you can have in the background if you want to.
All right.
So it's like if you're playing a handheld something, like they don't take themselves serious. So it's something that you can just chill out to.
Well, sure, that sounds fine. Then, yeah, so those 2 movies, again, were Drop Dead Gorgeous and Tragedy Girls, so I'll check both those out. Mike, what are you going to be playing this week?
I'm going to be finishing up Diablo, I think, because I looked it up. I think there's only 12 levels in it, and I'm already in level 9. So I think I had that finished up pretty sure. And then picking up Diablo 2. I already actually own it, but for some reason, Blizzard makes a bitch and a half to play it. So you have to, like, download a different starter. Like, you have to download something else instead of just going through their Blizzard account thing that, what's it called?
Battle.net.
Instead of going through Battle.net, you have to go to your account on their webpage to download a Diablo 2 starter thing. Because you can't just start it from Battle.net for some weird reason. And you can't even do that with Diablo 1 at all. And in fact, I bought Diablo 1 from Good Old Games, which is the weirdest thing ever. But, yeah, so I'm playing Diablo 2 because I already own it, which is nice. And like I said this last week, but try to get through Resident Evil 7. I mean, depending on what my time is filled up with. Movies-wise, who knows? So maybe my girlfriend will find another good movie to watch on Hulu or something. See what we get.
I'm actually going to check out Good Old Games myself. I'm going to download their client because it sounds
their
good.
Their client's really nice. It's not abrasive or anything. I highly suggest anyone else to give it a go to. I mean, ever since Epic Games came out, I've always been like really getting annoyed with Steam. I've always been annoyed for Steam for a long time, and I was really happy that actually Epic Games came up with their own store page. It's just nice to have something else. And then that led me to going back to Good Old Games because I had Good Old Games for the longest time, and they just actually updated their stores page, and it started as a beta and now it's out, I think, officially. But yeah, anyone can download it. I highlight anyone to download it because it's a real organized page, and the games on there are fantastic so far. What I've seen have been all games I would like to pick up someday and play. So I suggest you do that. I know that anything else I don't know that I'm going to be doing on this week. I'll probably be playing more actually Nintendo Switch because Nintendo Switch came out with their Super Nintendo thing. If you have their online thing, they now have Nintendo and Super Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
And I downloaded that, and they have Yoshi Island on there. And it's fucking exactly like Yoshi Island. It's a great simulation of the game. It's so much fun. I'm enjoying it. And I'll be playing some more of that too when I'm on the couch.
All right.
Awesome.
Yeah,
it's fucking Yoshi Island. It's like one of my favorite Super Nintendo games, and it's great that I get to play it for free because I got the online thing from Amazon Prime because they're with Twitch, and then Twitch gave me a free year of Nintendo Switch. So I'm like, cool. So I got the whole thing for free. So I'll be diving into the Super Nintendo game library and all that stuff some more as well with my sit-down time on the couch.
I know some of my family members have Amazon Prime, so I'm going to look into that because maybe it sounds like I could get free.
Yeah, you hook it up to Twitch, and then you get all this stuff for free, too. They even give out some free games, too, as well, actually. I think they do that monthly.
All right. Yeah, I'll check that out.
Besides that, that's it. And do we have anything else to discuss?
No, so I'm like looking through all these GOG games right now, so
Nice.
I think I'm all good. See you guys next week. Peace out.
Yeah, see ya.